I'm Will Flanagan from Frontier Developments, and you're listening to the Loose Screws podcast. Remember, always keep your fuel tanks full and your O7s poised.
Hey guys, it is February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day, which, depending how you look at it, could be the happiest day or the saddest day of the year. 2020 it is Thursday evening, which means it is Loose Screws time. Woo indeed. I know, the day before Valentine's. With me this evening is my standard issue co-pilot and community manager, Kai. How's it going this evening, brother?
Fantastic, brother. I'm doing great. We're flying spaceships. I'm happy.
Yeah. You know, flying spaceships is so freaking good sometimes because, like, it's been a really stressful week, and that's all I want to do this evening. So it's a good day, Tater. Also joining us on his every other week schedule is Trax. How's it going, Bubba?
I live on. No, I'm good. It's good. That could be interpreted as things are bad. Things are not bad. We're good. We're flying, as Kai says, we're flying spaceships, man. Shoot.
I know. I mean, I don't know. It's been a really, really kind of stressful week personally for me. And last night was ridiculous. But, you know, I had to cancel some things we had planned together last night, and poop happens. So,
yep. We are here for you.
So, got a little housekeeping here. Number one, Trax does all of our audio management and our audio engineering. I don't want to say management is the right term, but audio engineering. And that's what he does for his business. And so he also has his own podcast called The Tone Control, and you can get all this stuff over at jntrax.com. The other thing is that it's kind of a momentous day for Loose Screws because we officially have a domain, which I know doesn't sound like a whole big deal, but I'm very proud of it. And so the domain is loosescrewsed.com. That's also our Twitter handle, but you can get all of the Discord, YouTube, Mixer, Twitch, all the links from the loosescrewsed.com. And we have a full-blown brand new webpage that's going to be coming out in the next couple of weeks. So it's awesome. I'm very excited about that. I've been working pretty hard on that in my off time whenever I have time to work on it between flying spaceships and actually working with work. So breathing a little bit now that we're getting really close. Speaking of which, Kai, you weren't on when I was showing that the Trax. I need to give you that link and show it to you. So, because there's a few things we got to tidy up on it, but we'll handle that offline.
Fantastic. Man.
The other thing is that, so coming up in March is the Loose Screws Distant Screws Expedition.
That's such a better title than just Distant Screws. The Loose Screws Distant Screws Expedition. It's a screwy expedition out to Sagittarius A by way of Colonia and back. And I've been really happy and impressed and surprised by the response. So it's turning into a thing. If you haven't checked it out yet, there's links in the events channel of our Discord. And there's a EDSM page that has the route that you can review and see kind of what's planning. And I'm updating that as I kind of fill out certain things, like if particular people are going to be with me on certain days as far as the stream is concerned. And then there's also a sign-up sheet for people who want to come out to be with us. And I'm going to check it right now to see what the current number are. I think we are almost at 10. I think there's still just 9 people in here. See responses. Yeah, so 9 responses currently. So if one more podcast listener decides they want to come on this expedition and signs up, then I believe that's all it's going to take for us to be able to submit this as an official expedition on EDSM, and it'll get its own badge and spot on the front page and everything. So
So let's be clear here. I've already talked to a dozen people that are like, oh yeah, that sounds cool. I think I might join for that. I think, it sounds like a good thing. DJ Wiley has expressed interest. There's been several others have also expressed interest. So for sure, we're getting to 10. The question is, who's going to be the magic number? Who's going to be able to say, I was number 10. I was the guy that signed up and made this thing to where it was an official, recognized expedition with the patch and all that. So who's going to be the famous one? I guess we'll see. First come, first serve.
Sidebar here. I actually designed the patch, so I'm a little I really want to see it on the website on EDSM. So I'm a little partial to that. Got a little bias going on there. So
all right, guys. So make Ty's day. Sign up on our sheet. Bring any ship you want. One thing that I actually want to note, I realized that in the questions I was asking some other details just so that we have some sort of fluff information about the expedition itself. And I forgot to ask what platform everybody was playing on, because somebody asked me, is it okay if they come if they're not on PC? Obviously, that's okay. And I added that question into the sign-up sheet. So everybody who has signed up already can add that to their response if they want to. But yes, everybody can come. Obviously, we're playing on PC, but at a long expedition like this, we might not have interacted a whole lot anyway. It's really just about sort of the camaraderie of doing the thing and being places and seeing the sights. So come along. Let's get some representatives from the other from the console players.
Yeah, and even if you happen to be on PlayStation 4 or you happen to be on Xbox and there's only a couple people coming of your platform or whatever, it doesn't matter. We're all in this together. We'll all be making jumps together the same weeks at the same time. We'll be at the same places. We'll all be talking about our experiences. We might, land at different planets or see different things. We might have some little interviews here and there out in the black, when we're out there, and we do a little thing where we say like, hey man, we're talking with this guy today and we're talking about, what happened here or what we saw there. So For sure, no matter what platform you're on, you're with us. Come on over.
Right. So the streams are going to have, I'll just quickly, the streams are going to happen on Tuesdays between March 3rd and then the last one being on April 28th. And there are going to be 3 episodes that happen on weekends in addition to those where it's going to be able to be UK hours. The first one that I've confirmed is going to be Sunday, March 15th. And I'm going to have Alec Turner in the co-pilot seat with me chit-chatting about everything we see and probably some stuff that we don't see.
Oh man, I'm excited about that. I haven't talked with Alec in a while, so
yeah, I want to ask him how he learned to fly the SRV like that and why I'm still driving it.
I wish to hell
it's called fliving.
Yeah.
I
can actually tell you the story of how he learned, and I will tonight. So stay tuned.
All right.
So what have you guys been up to this week? I'll start with Kai. What you been up to this week in the game, bro?
Oh, in the game. Okay. Because first off, I put in like 70 hours at work this week. It's been kicking my butt. And then I had, I don't know, people are making jokes now in the Discord about how I am David Braben in disguise, or I am an AI, or there's clones or whatever. But like legit, it's none of that. It's just, I spend, I would say probably maybe an hour and a half to 2 hours a day, like doing show note stuff and searching for stuff online or whatever. So when work is heavy, like it has been, it kicks my butt a little bit. But the time that I have been able to log on and actually play, I have gone out and got into some shenanigans at the Storytime location, and which we'll cover in a little bit. And I've been continuing on my path, man. I've been doing my bug squashing. I'm doing my part for the Federation for Humans, for hashtag Team People. If you remember, what was it, 3 weeks ago when I started this, I was just about to get into expert rank. Mm-hmm. I've gone all the way through expert. I've gone all the way through master, and I am now dangerous. So I have to finish. I have to finish out dangerous and then finish out deadly, and that will put me at elite. But as Dubs quite rightly pointed out, I will not consider myself elite until I make some other achievements as far as, work on my PvP skill and go for some big boy Tharg hunting. But it's just right now it's a thing that I'm focusing on. So I'm happy with the progress.
Well, boy, I'm only dangerous. You caught right the hell up to me.
Keep in mind, it's pretty much. I think it's like. Isn't it dangerous considered like the halfway point?
Well, each time they double, so that would make sense.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So I remember hitting dangerous and then like spending the next 2 years dangerous, thinking I was a badass, and then it took me a little bit longer before I finally hit the wonderful triple elite. So. I'm just saying. Yeah. I'm just saying.
I get it. I tend to be driven, and I tend to there's no magical formula in it, but I go, man. I go and I don't stop. So that's I'm looking forward to achieving my goal well in advance of the 4th of July.
Well, knowing you'll accomplish it. However, if you do accomplish it, I think it'll be quite an accomplishment because it took me the better part of a year to get there when I actually started concentrating on it. So,
plus, Kai is signed up to come out with us on the Loose Screws Distance Screws Screwy Expedition, and that's gonna delete a lot of his grind time. So, that's a bold stance.
Well, here's the thing. I feel that I can get to deadly before the expedition kicks off. I want to get a good portion through deadly, and then I'll take a month and a half off to screw around with my friends, and then I'll come back and put my nose back to the grindstone.
Well,
very nice.
What have you been up to, Trax?
A little of this, little of that. I've kind of just been messing around and chilling for a while, although last night our mutual friend of the show, Dubs, got me a little bit inspired to maybe rejigger my Anaconda build for the expedition, because he managed to get one that jumps nearly as far as mine, and then he followed me out to a conflict zone and didn't get killed.
Stay strapped or get clapped.
Yeah,
Dubs.
That thing put up some pain. But actually, the interesting thing tonight is I always record podcasts out in my studio where everything sounds awesome and all my equipment is. But doing this podcast and knowing that you guys are in game while you record and stuff, I felt a little left out. So I have redone my whole situation here. And I've brought my microphone and a preamp and my computer down into my game room, and I'm in game. I'm staring at Commander Tirval inside the station while I float around outside.
Oh shit! Are you in game?
I'm in game, and I'm actually playing the game not in VR for the first time in as long as I can remember, because it would be absurd to try to do a podcast in VR and be able to look at the notes and stuff. So I'm playing flat screen, but I am playing tonight.
Awesome.
Right on, brother. And what you drinking?
You're even in the vet.
I'm in the vet, man. I'm vet to vet with you right now.
Oh, vet to vet. Let's go like
let's kiss.
Well, I guess we know. I guess you guys are each other's Valentines.
That's right. That's right. We need to. In fact, I bet we could. You can make the vet look like a heart shape if you squint.
How?
No?
How much are you drinking?
Oh, not that much yet, but I've got them lined up here, so I don't even have to leave the desk. I can just crack the next one right now. So we'll see. We'll see how the night goes.
We're gonna do a sweet little 10 meter a second kiss.
All right, 10 meters. You got it.
10 meters.
Oh shoot! Slowed it down. Just 10. Just 10. Oh, there it is.
Hello. Exciting.
Craziness.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me get back over. I can look at the notes. I've had kind of an interesting week from what little bit I've been able to play. So for the first time in quite a while, I have gotten into CQC again. And I'm very excited about this because as crazy as it sounds, I'm sitting around going, I might be able to hit elite. If I try hard enough, I could probably hit elite. Everybody says you can't do it, but I'm already up to amateur. So
that sounds like it's a long way from elite.
it is. Don't get me wrong. It's still a long, long way from elite. But considering I was like, what's the lowest rank? Like 2%, mostly helpless.
Yeah, helpless. Yeah,
something like that. One. I think the combat one is harmless, and this one here is helpless. But anyway, so yeah. So I've been doing some CQC. I've been enjoying that for the most part. I say for the most part because there's a few people in there. I don't want to sit there and just go, I think they cheat, but I think they cheat. I don't. Either I'm completely retarded on some things, which is very possible, that I just don't know what the hell I'm doing, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, because I am not the smartest person. But it's also possible that I just do not. That we just have some cheaters, and I think we just have some cheaters. So
could be.
It is a far way to go, and everyone says, "Oh, that's not possible. That's not whatever." I'll let you in on a little secret. A man who will not stop cannot be beat. You can be pushed back, but you can't be beat so long as you keep coming.
Well, I'm going to take a little break when I do the distant screws. Oh, actually, I have two stories. I want to tell real quick, okay? First one is my joystick story, or my HOTA story, because saying joystick as a grown-ass man sounds a little weird. So as many people who I play with might know, the yaw on my Logitech X56 squeaked. So I had the original version of it after my X52 died after 4 years of use. And I had the original X56, and it started squeaking. So I sent it into Logitech. Logitech sent me back a repaired, refreshed, whatever you want to call it, new one, or refurbished one.
Refurbished, yeah.
Yeah. And after about 3 months, it started squeaking again, which pissed me off. But I kind of left it alone. I was like, I'm just going to wait until the warranty expires, and I'm going to take the damn thing apart and fix it myself. Well, I got really irritated by it because I got tired of hearing the squeak. So I contacted Logitech. And after speaking with their customer service, they were good enough to actually send me a brand new one in box with a label to send back my old one. So
all right.
Kudos to Logitech for doing the right thing and helping me out and make it to where I didn't have to learn how to fly this game with a mouse and keyboard and possibly kill a kitten. So not that I would actually kill a kitten, but
you saved a kitten, Logitech.
Yeah. So the other thing I was wanting to tell you is, so my buddy Gunskill, who was actually on the very first episode of this podcast, going all the way back to August. I know it seems like just a few days ago, but it seems like a lifetime ago for me. Going all the way back to August, I told him about distant screws, and he's been kind of, he didn't really want to participate in the show no more, but he's been listening to the show, and he's an avid listener of the show. And I said, hey, we're doing this expedition. Do you want to go? And he's like, fuck yeah, I do. So he I spent a large portion of Tuesday or Wednesday. No, it had to be, or was it Monday? I spent a large portion of one nights this week actually going through and getting him set up on a crate. And then I got my crate decked out. And then after I did that, I thought, man, I still want to take my vet.
Respect.
But I don't know if I'm going to take the vet or not, because the very first waypoint on the expedition, the difference is either 40 jumps in the Crate Phantom or like 90 jumps. 90 jumps. And I'm thinking that Crate Phantom's looking better and better. So
you could strip the vet a bit and not strip it completely and have it be a lot better.
I've actually worked out how to strip the vet to see if I can get it down. The best I can do it is about 37 light years. I know I can strip it further than that, but then I can stay strapped. So,
So my favorite ship for exploration, deep exploration, is my Crate Phantom, and I love it. But I've never done this before. I've never done a group expedition where I have sort of the freedom of knowing that I'm going to have some guys around. So I think I may, as a tip of the hat to the old school commanders, I think I may, see if I can go ahead and get a whole bunch of pictures of Asp in front of things. I think I might go with the Asp Exploder, go old school, and kind of just celebrate the pioneer spirit of the olden days guys like Ty.
Yeah, I actually do not own my Asp anymore. I sold it for the Crate, which is made me a little sad, but I don't care. The Crate's better. So
I don't argue that for 1 second. I just kind of want to do it just to do it. Because like if I'm going out solo, I'm taking my Crate because that's my buddy out in the black. But like if I'm gonna just zip around the verse, I like my little bus. I like my little taxi, my little beep beep Diamondback Exploder. But I think I kind of want to, like I said, go just old school retro and do the Asp.
Well,
did you sign up on the forum with an Asp?
I think I don't know what I clicked on it, to be honest with you. I remember I was doing that. I was pulled to the side of the road and did it on my phone, I think. And
well, I can tell you.
I think I clicked Diamond. I think I clicked the wrong thing. I think I clicked Phantom, but I'm thinking about it. I'm changing my mind to Asp. If it's not
Kaizen, you said Phantom.
Can you change that to Asp for me?
No, I can't.
All right, I'll change it. Yeah.
You're really gonna take the Asp, huh?
I feel like going
as long as you
school.
turn your speakers off, you'll be fine.
Exactly. It's the most annoying engine.
All right, well, man, I want to go old school.
We'll see if you like it after you go, 30,000 light years.
Here's the thing, man. I respect the hell out of Ty, going old school in the day and taking his vet places and stuff. And like, I just kind of want to do the pioneer spirit thing. I want to do the Asp.
Well, there are 3 Asp X's on our sign up form already, and that doesn't include you yet. So you will be in company.
Well, make it 4 because I've decided 100% I'm doing
All right.
it.
Awesome.
All right.
So here's the thing with that. Okay, like I talk a lot of shit like, oh, I took my vet out to Sagittarius. I did this in my vet. I did that in my. Okay, do you know the real reason why I did all that in the vet? Because I was poor.
You didn't have any other ships because you bought a vet.
Exactly, I bought the vet.
But just like when you find these couples that it's like, they're talking about like they have like a 4-bedroom house with a 3-car garage and all this stuff, but they wistfully think back of the days where they were poor, just out of college, and they had like a crappy little 1-bedroom, whatever, where the radiator only sometimes worked. But like they remember those times fondly. They weren't living like that because, that was the thing. They were living like that because they had no choice. You were traveling like that because you had no choice. But when you look back at it now, you wear it like a badge of honor and you remember it fondly. So I say, that's still cool, man, regardless of why you did it.
Yeah. It's cool, man. I support you.
Here's the thing. There's about an 80% chance I'm taking my vet.
Respect, bro. Respect.
Yeah. Take the hull off of it and, whatever. Put a couple of extra things in and you'll be fine. When do you lose the shields on that thing? Come on.
Right before I boost out.
Yeah.
I mean,
so just boost out a little sooner if we're out there and anything goes down.
Yeah. Well, on to the news this week. So there wasn't a whole lot of news out of Frontier this week, but we do want to talk about, I think we were saving that for Elite. But the thing that we do want to kind of talk about this week is not actually from Frontier, but Commander Exegius and the pilot got together and did a video together, which is pretty cool. I think the pilot went on. Was it the pilot that went on Exegius show, or was it the other way around?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
That was correct. It was the pilot was a guest on. It was the Friends on Friday.
Yeah, that's what it was. The Friends on Friday thing. Thank you.
Mhm.
You know, I probably remember a name. So let's just go around the horn and talk about comments on that. We'll start with Kai.
So let's break this out a little bit because we already talked about the Friends on Friday thing. That was a separate thing, and they had a great visit together, and it was a long, it was just a long, really good conversation. They shot the moon, man. They discussed everything that you can, but this is a video that came out this week that I give big props to X for putting this out. Exegius pulled it out, labeled it separately, and it's ballsy, man, because let me tell you, these two guys went at it. They had a conversation in which they were diametrically opposed in their ideas. So just to get to the root of it, basically the question or the conversation was, you know, around the idea of, do you want a player-controlled economy? And the pilot gave a very good argument for why he would like it, and he talked about a lot of different issues and things that he would like to make the universe more dynamic and what have you. X was arguing entirely against, and his argument for why he doesn't want a player-driven economy revolved around one specific key issue. He does not want pay to win. He does not want RMT coming into this game and in any way affecting it. And he went so far in his feelings on the matter that he said flat out and repeated it multiple times that the day they give you that, the day they allow that, I am deleting my account on stream and will never play this game again. Which, I mean, he has a very, very strong opinion on the matter. Mm-hmm. And I just thought it was interesting. So here was the thing that I respect the most for both of their points. I honestly lean much more on the side of the pilot. I agree with the pilot in the overall argument of if you could have more dynamic, player-driven economy, would you choose to have it? I side with him more on my general philosophy for it, but I give mad respect to both of them for the way they went about the conversation. They got even a little heated. You could hear it, and the whole conversation, we'll break it out. I've got a clip. You can hear the whole 45-minute long or whatever conversation yourself. And it got a little heated.
It definitely got a little heated.
But they both showed each other the respect to listen to the other person's point, to sort of counter it with how you feel and what you think, but not drag it to a place that so many times that's what happens today with anything, elite fans versus Star Citizen fans or Republicans, Democrat, or this, that, and the other. You immediately shut down, you stop listening to the other guy, and you get dirty or nasty with it. And neither of them did. They had a civil, heated discussion in which they disagreed on how to go about this, but they both respected the other enough to let the other make their point and then, go with the next round. And they both sort of realized when they got to a point where they had to agree to disagree because they just weren't going to convince the other one. Exegius's point was well made as well, even though I disagree. I agree. It's not that I disagree with Exegius. I agree more with the pilot. I agree that having a more dynamic economy would be better than not. But I completely understand Exegius's point of saying, dynamic economy is awesome. For sure, you should have that. And so long as you can guarantee me a way that there's no RMT element, I'm down with that. But the second you allow for RMT, the second that you open up that door,
can you explain RMT? I don't think I caught that.
RMT
acronym.
is real money transfer.
Oh, okay,
So
yeah.
RMT is in WoW. You got your WoW token, and you buy it, you sell it to somebody for cash or whatever, and they use, or in more what I know it from, because when I was playing WoW, it didn't really have that WoW token crap, but in EVE, there was ISK, and there still is ISK, and ISK is international. I think it's Interstellar Kroners, because they're from Iceland or whatever, and so ISK is their money source, and it is literally allowed to. You can tell me, hey, Kai, I've got $30. I'm gonna Venmo you $30. Give me, 10. To give me 100 million ISK or whatever. Like, you could literally just say that, and then I'll just transfer you the money, and it's allowed in game. It's completely allowed. There's marketplaces where you can go and put stuff up using in-game tools and sell it. They completely went the other way with it, where they're like, look, we're not going to stop it. We're going to let it happen. And it's the wild, wild west. And if you get screwed or cheated, that's on you. We're going to just laugh at you and say, HTFU, harden the F up. Like, they went a different way with it, man. And so, like, just to back it up a little bit, I agree with the pilot, but I completely understand Exegius, and I think it was a ballsy, cool conversation. It was ballsy of Exegius to put it out, and I respect why he feels how he feels. And in the end, when they got to a point where they just could not agree, and they were just kind of going in circles, they were both adults and recognized it and said, hey, let's back away from this now, because I'm not going to convince you. You're not going to convince me. But just because we don't agree on issue X doesn't mean we have to hate each other. Doesn't mean we have to whatever. We're both cool guys. Let's just move on with life. And I dig that.
What do you think? Go ahead, Trax.
Okay. So me. All right. So if we're still referencing this to the video, I guess I think I actually agree with Exegius. And it seems to me that the issue becomes, the issue on their video was kind of a strict definition of what they actually mean by pay to win. Sorry. And I tend to agree. Like, as soon as you're buying something that affects the gameplay with something you didn't earn in game, then it's like over. I think. Like, I think that means you're paying to win. And they're sort of commenting that, like, who cares if you can buy a totally decked out FDL, even if you don't know how to fly it? The knowing how to fly it is more meaningful in this game. I don't personally care about that distinction. And I think that would just kind of like cheapen everything that we're doing here. I would love to have I don't know. I am very hesitant to say that I would want the kind of economy where we could trade things, because I just can't imagine a way for that to happen where we wouldn't be you could keep the real money out of it. And I think the real money would destroy it.
So real quick, just let me jump in here in case there's any question, because I don't want there to be confusion in the distinctions that were made. So no one is suggesting, not Exegius, not the pilot, no one was suggesting that now you could buy a fully engineered FDL for ARX in the store or whatever, no one was suggesting for one moment that it would be designed as an RMT transfer, that it would be designed for you give me X cash. But what Exegius was saying, well, I know that Trax. I'm saying I want to make sure that everyone listening also understands, so they don't think that it's like, yeah, why would you want that for ARX? The argument Exegius was making, and the argument that Trax is definitely in agreement with, is that the second you allow for me to sell Ty my fully engineered FDL for X amount of credits, someone will unscrupulously say, well, I'll just give you 1 credit for it, but I'm also going to just Venmo you $20.
Right. And I don't think you can separate that. I don't think it's possible. And therefore, I don't think it could be put in the game in a way that, so I was actually, while I was listening to the discussion, I was imagining like, how would I make a sort of player to player economy work in such a way that I think it wouldn't be that? And the only thing I could imagine is if players could create things on their own, right? So it's a player economy because it's stuff we create. It's engineered modules that we worked for the materials for and then made and then put on a marketplace. But the prices would have to be not set by us. Like the moment it's, even in the case of an auction, I think that stuff can be gamed. So I think it would have to be some kind of thing where like you could build this and put it on the market and it would sell for 6 million credits. And when someone when another player bought it from you, you would get the 6 million credits. But the game itself was like prescribing what the price would be. And I don't think that would satisfy anybody, would it?
So the other issue that they were talking around in this conversation, which they alluded to and made references to, is the fact that we already have that now. We literally have now where people will take your real life money, your real life cash, log into your account and go grind mats for you or do stuff. We literally have right now, there are websites you can go to where you can buy somebody's account in Elite Dangerous or whatever. And in no way are we supporting this or in any way suggesting that this is a good idea. This is bad, but it exists now already in the game.
I don't think you can say that that's the same because it exists in the game in the shadows in a way that has to be like kind of small time or something, or it would have a bigger impact. I don't think it's significant. And if it was,
I agree with you. They're two very different things, but I'm just saying that was the argument that the pilot was making. Is it exists now? It exists in World of Warcraft. It exists in every game where you have WoW farmers for gold or this, that, and the other. In Final Fantasy 14, you buy gil for cash in all these games. And so the argument I think that he was more going towards is, since you can't stop it from happening anyways, you might as well go the CCP route of saying, all right, it's all out in the open and we're going to be completely honest about it. And I completely agree with you in your assessment that the fact of the matter is having it happen right now in such a small way is completely different than the amount of volume in which it will happen if you allow for it. I agree with you. You're right on that. Yeah. I just personally feel that having the freedom of that market adds so much more dynamic gameplay and options that the plus of that outweighs for me the minus of people who are pay to win. But I respect your assessment as well. 100% is valid.
Ty?
So this is what we're talking about. And this is actually a much larger discussion that spans gaming as a whole, not even necessarily Elite Dangerous. Because, okay, if you take out the discussion that the pilot and XE just have, and you break it down, what they're talking about are loot boxes. What they're talking about is pay to win. That's what they're talking about. And you can dress it up however you want to dress it up, but that's what it is. And it's messy, and it's a slippery slope. When you get to the point to where you have a player-driven economy, it's a slippery slope for multiple reasons. We saw, I'm a big World of Warcraft player, and we saw, or I saw the economy with a multi-server auction house, then get merged into about 20 auction houses. It went down from I think 100 auction houses on every server down to 80. I'm sorry, down to 20. That was the grouping of realms, the battle groups. And now I think we're actually down to just one. And then they put in the WoW token, which, depending on the server you're on, it's actually, the WoW token is actually more valuable than the American dollar. It's a slippery slope when you start putting in real world behind virtual currency. And the industry as a whole is moving away from loot boxes or pay to win because there is something dirty about, like these whales coming into these mobile games and buying all the most expensive ships or most expensive things, and then playing for 6 weeks or whatever, and then quitting, and then they spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on a credit card because they have this, for lack of a better term, compulsive gambling thing going on. If you look at the industry, the gaming industry as a whole, they're moving away from loot boxes. And I think that the root of the discussion is pay to win loot boxes, no matter how you want to dress it up. Whether you want to dress it up as you want to dress it up as like, well, we're just going to sell these little modules. And World of Warcraft has been selling gold since day freaking one. People have been selling ships and accounts or materials in this game since day freaking one. It's not going away. And when you get to the point where the company condones it, two things happen. One, you devalue progression as a whole. You devalue any sort of accomplishment that anyone takes place, that anyone gains as a whole, or earns as something they actually gained. Combat Elite, I looked it up on Inara, and something like 9% of the population has Combat Elite. 9%. If you could pay a website for Combat Elite, which I'm sure there are websites out there, we're getting to the point to where it doesn't matter what you do in the game. There's no value to anything you own in the game. And I do not like pay to win. I do not like loot boxes. I don't like anything like that. And that's ultimately what they were talking about. Like I said, you can dress it up however you want to.
Yeah, they definitely were trying to make a distinction where Exegius thought that pay to win was, like you're saying, anytime money touches it and it's beyond cosmetic, it's pay to win.
Yep.
Which I happen to agree with. The pilot says it's not pay to win because this game is skill based, and you can have the most meta FDL. If you don't know how to fly it, you're not going to win in that fight. And I don't think that matters, because that is not what winning is in this game. Winning is the progression. That's what this game is, and that's why if money touches it at all, it will be destroyed.
Well, I mean, okay, skill based. Yeah, you're right. There's skill involved in this game, but World of Warcraft is skill based. Like if you do an arena, there's a level of skill. If you're doing high-end raiding, there's a level of skill there. From a PvP point of view, there's some skill in this game, but when you get right down to it, there's not a lot of skill involved in getting
in
any
the PvE
of the
aspects,
right? In the PvE aspects, in PvP,
Thargoids.
Yeah, you can make an argument for Thargoid for Thargoid stuff. I'll give you that. But I think that when you apply a real world value to something, well, even though it may already exist in another form, you're devaluing anyone who might have earned it the real way. And
so go ahead.
I think that you hurt the game as a whole by doing that.
So just to be clear, I think you want to draw a distinction, because loot boxes are pay to win, but pay to win isn't loot boxes. So it's a situation of what's the difference between any pay to win, i.e. people who are like gold farmers, Chinese gold farmers, and loot boxes. The difference there very clearly is, in one case, it's a situation where out of game, a situation occurs that is not something that the game really has the ability to stop. They don't condone, and they do not profit from. A loot box is a situation where the developer of a game is acting in a predatory manner of sort of, now they're treating you like a mark. They're treating you, they're designing the game They're trying to design the game to have problems and flaws so that you pay them cash to get past those problems and flaws. That's a very, very different thing. If this game or any game that I was interested in started heavily favoring loot boxes, I'm 100% for loot boxes if that's what you want to do, so long as, and I'll be honest, I'm actually not even for it then, but so long as it's all just cosmetics. If tomorrow FDev came out with a thing where they said, hey, now it's a loot box where you can click and get a paint job, a random paint job, and maybe it's a super expensive one and you can get it for cheap.
Sure.
I would think that that's cheesy. I would not like it. I would not be for it, but I wouldn't be butthurt. I'd be like, whatever, you do you, man. If tomorrow they said, hey, here's a brand new cutter, fully engineered with prismatic shields in a loot box, I would quit playing this game. So I 100% draw a huge distinction between that and a player-driven economy such as EVE, where there's a lot more dynamic interactions and there's, also, and that brings with it a lot of good and that brings with it a lot of bad. So like in this discussion, in this whole argument of ideas, the pilot is right and Exegius is right. Neither one of them, it's not like one of them is dumb and not getting it. They both get it. Mm-hmm. It's just the pilot says, I am more interested in freedoms and expanded options and more choices. And so I would take a more sort of civil libertarian attitude of this thing of saying, hey man, let's just let it all hang out and see where it goes. And Exegius is right in the sense of him saying, but what he wants, what he is leaning towards is a more protective of the environment situation of saying like, hey man, let's not introduce new things that is going to rock this boat and that could take it in a bad way.
Well, this is, I mean, okay, but think about it like this for just a minute. Let's take ships out of the equation. Let's take real money out of the equation for just a minute, okay? Let's say that I buy a module, I buy a prismatic shield generator, all right? And I fully engineer it, and then I go put it onto the Elite Dangerous auction house. No matter, they can call it whatever the hell they want, but we go put it on the Elite Dangerous auction house, and I put it up for $50 million. Let's say that I spend weeks.
Sorry, the raw part costs more than that. Go on.
I can't remember the hell
Go on.
The size, doesn't it? I mean,
it does, but they're wildly expensive. Go on.
Oh, it depends on the size, but the little ones cost more than that, man.
Yeah.
All right, well, we're nitpicking. I can't remember how much they're worth. Okay.
I'm just giving you a hard time, please.
Sure.
500 million then. Okay. Let's say they're 500 million. Jesus. So let's say they're 500 million. I put it up there for 500 million. Someone who doesn't really want to waste the time and go realigning themselves with Ashling and doing all the things to where you have to, waiting the month where you get them again, can spend 500,000 credits, go buying it and getting it, and then having it permanently on them. I think that's perfect. Yeah, 500 million. I think that's perfectly okay. That has existed in every video game going back to day one.
But that is exactly what the pilot is arguing for, and Exegius is saying, no, you can't do that, because if you do that, what's going to happen is 10 guys are going to say, I'm putting this size 8A, which actually goes for $500 million already. So that, let's say they'll put it up for $750 million, so they have a profit margin. But they say, I'm going to put this 8A up, the 8 prismatic up, and I'm going to put it up for $750 million. 10 guys might do that. And then, okay, that's a transaction that Exegius is cool with, that Trax is cool with, that everyone is cool with. But what Exegius and Trax are not cool with is the fact that one guy is actually going to put it up. He's going to be like, all right, Ty, are you ready? Because I'm going to put it on the auction house right now, have the menu up. I'm going to put it up for, 1 million credit. I'm going to put it up for like a 499 million credit loss for myself in game, and you're going to buy it. But first, you're giving me your credit card number, and you're going to Venmo me, $20 cash. That's the argument.
Who cares? And let me tell you why that. Let me tell you why who cares on that. That's been happening in World of Warcraft for 15 years. That's been happening in every MMO out there for however long.
That doesn't
MMOs
mean
exist.
it's good to suddenly sanction it.
Well,
Wait a second. Did I just sway you here with that explanation? Because you were starting saying you were on Exegius' side, and now you're on the pilot side.
I feel like you flipped.
I'm playing both sides a little bit here. Okay. The thing is that involving real money is bad. Having a company condone using real money to buy in-game currency, that's bad. But I am a big supporter of having a player-driven auction house that would allow me to farm modules. And it doesn't necessarily even have to be modules. It could be, what if I'm making,
Engineering changes.
Yeah, engineering changes or something. What if I have access to an engineer that someone else doesn't, and I put it on the auction house and put it up for them? I mean, there are people right now who go and buy World of Warcraft, level up a character, get enough gold, go to the auction house, buy whatever freaking gear that you need to get yourself decently good for the arena, and then they start going to the arena. Or they start going to they're already doing this. And to kind of go along with it, I'm not even 100% sure that, I mean, is it really such a bad thing to use real money? I mean,
oh God, you went way over to the other side.
This is not how I thought this was going.
Holy crap!
No, hold on. No,
he swerved on us.
The reason why I say this, all right, think about this for just a minute. All right, if more people buy things, FDev has more money to make us.
No. They're not paying FDev. No, Ty. We're talking about transactions between players. If somebody's paying FDev, I mean, I don't like that either. If you're buying that is definitionally pay to win. But
yeah.
What we've been talking about up till now has not been paying FDev.
No, I get that.
So
what I'm saying is basically FDev puts a way you can buy credits similar to the WoW, with the WoW token.
I don't like that either.
Yeah, I'm actually. You went farther than I did on that argument, Ty. I'm good with a player auction house. I don't want FDev to introduce Plex. I don't want FDev to introduce WoW tokens. You swing from the Exegius side. You went so far to the right that you're alt-right at this point. And I mean, like, hey man, here's the thing. We should probably, we're an hour into the show already.
Oh, wow, okay.
And we're going to keep talking in circles because the whole point here is nobody is wrong or right. It's just a difference of opinion on this issue. There's plenty of arguments where there's right and wrong. This is a situation where it's personal taste. And so let's
quickly do opinions. Let's do opinions and put our money down. So opinion, do you like it / do you quit the game? Okay, so Kai, if we have player auction houses that obviously can involve real money, but it's not FDev selling it to us, do you like it? Do you quit the game?
I would say I like it, but B, if we don't get it, there's not anything that's going to make me quit the game on this spectrum of this argument.
No, I
that's a very hard line that X took.
I'm only saying that because that's what X said.
No, I get it. I get it.
So then if FDev is selling things, FDev is now selling fully engineered Corvettes to any new player. Do you like it or not?
Okay, well, so I'm going to take back what I said then, because I didn't think that was an option that you were discussing, because that's not what they were discussing. If FDev
lay him on the table,
box ships, I would quit the game.
All right. What about you, Ty? If it's a player auction house, obviously there's real money. FDev isn't making money off of it. What do you think?
I think real money auction house. I would say, hey, let's go look at how that worked. Diablo 3 when it launched. It was awful. Nobody fucking liked it. Don't do it. If it is just a standard auction house that's a player-driven economy that you can only exchange with credits, I'm all for that.
But that can't exist. I mean, we're talking about the real world here. That can't exist. There will always be money transactions. in the
That's
background.
the minority of transactions, though. That's like
But
less
I
than
think it
1% of
facilitates
things
it. I think it's less than 1% is happening now. If they make it an auction house, it becomes way more than 1% because
Even-
it's
I disagree.
facilitated.
Even at
disagree. I think
10%, even at 10%, it
Think so?
doesn't really matter
I-
because it's
I
still a small
disagree.
percentage.
I disagree 100% with you, Trex.
thinks
There,
I'm
I
wrong.
think
All right.
I think that right now it's less than 1/10 of 1%. I think if you introduce an auction house that's player driven, it goes up
Yeah.
to about the 1% mark.
Okay.
Even then, it's going to be a small fish in a huge pool. But I understand completely the feelings of people who say, I don't want
Yeah.
even the 1%.
And now, Ty, I'm assuming you would, if FDev started selling fully engineered ships, you still playing this game?
I'm not saying I'd quit, but I don't know. I don't know how much I'm going to play.
Pretty upset. Yeah.
First of all, I don't think at all FDev would ever do that. I
don't
think they've
either.
made it pretty clear that they have no interest in doing any sort of pay for anything like that.
Yeah.
And and I did make up those stats, by the way. Their gun skill. I mean, this is never pulled out of the air. But yeah, to give you an idea, I really do think that FDev will never do this. Will they do something to where we have paints like will they do something to where you maybe trade paints? Maybe you could gift arcs. Yeah, I think that'll happen. I think they'll make it to where you can gift arcs or trade paints or something like that at some point. I think that's just a matter of them doing it. But
so for me, I think right down. Well, yeah. So in ARC's marketplace, which we hadn't talked about before, I think that'd be easy. Yeah, totally. Like buy paint jobs for each other, send each other gifts of ARCs. I think that's totally sorely missing from the store right now.
Yeah.
But if there's a player marketplace that FDev does not participate in, I'm honestly worried about how that affects the game. I hope you guys are right that it would, or Kai, especially that you're right that it would turn out to be not a big deal. It would make me worried. It would not make me quit. If FDev started selling things, I can't see how I would not be so disillusioned by that I would quit. It would be so hard to stick with this, and I would be devastated by that.
It also last thing I'll say is like it also kind of depends on how many. Like if they give like a Vet Mark II with more gun ports or something that's like $20 or something. Well, obviously I'm buying the Vet Mark II, but it depends. It
fall into their trap.
I know I do, but it kind of depends how many people actually buy it. Like, is it really a pay to win ship? Is it like an expansion pack? I mean, these are questions for philosophers. I'm just going to pay my $20 and get my win ship. So.
I will say this though: if tomorrow they came out on the ARC store and said, "Hey, we made a deal with the IP owners of Battlestar Galactica, and now you can get your Vulture can look like
looks like a Viper.
The Viper
There
Mark.
were Vipers in Battlestar, right?
I would, yeah, Viper. If your Vulture could look like a Viper, or could look like the either that or the Babylon 5. What are the Star Furies? The little ships.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I would too. If they were like, "Hey, it's $8," I would be like, "Shut up and take my money."
Because that's ARCs. Everybody's fine with the cosmetics. Absolutely.
So long as it stays cosmetic, 100%.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
We got to push
Good
through.
discussion.
We have other stuff. We got to push
do
through.
it.
Discussion though.
Yeah.
And I know I went long there.
So hey, huge salute again to Exegius, Commander Exegius, and the pilot for giving us this awesome discussion topic.
Yeah.
Super.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out where the hell we were at in the notes here. All right. So next thing on the list is Exegius spoke with, I know we're covering a lot of Exegius stuff this week, but Commander Exegius spoke with, and I'm forgetting his name right now. Somebody help me.
Commander Gracchus.
Commander Gracchus. Thank you. I was about to say Granis, but Commander Gracchus. I told myself I remember that because I thought it was a cool freaking name.
Jerry Ferris is his name, but Commander Gracchus is how I like to think of him for sure. Man.
I freaking remembered his real name, but I couldn't remember his commander. I didn't want to say his real name, so anyway.
Either one's good.
I know, right? So he spoke with him. He had a really good, was about an hour-long conversation with him about different things.
Yeah, man.
Actually, this is the video. I have not got a chance to watch it because I spent 3 hours watching the other one. So,
shall we, Kai, go over the basics or?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for
Or
sure,
I can.
we can. We absolutely can. I thought we were doing this in Elite Week, but it's totally
Yeah.
fine. So yes, on Friday, Exegius did Friends on Friday welcomes Jerry Ferris. It was an hour and 43 minutes long. It was a phenomenal, very cool, interesting conversation. You learned a lot about this guy. He has a congenital issue where he was at one point in his life able to work his arms and his hands a little better, and he was able to sort of game in the more traditional way. But as his spinal condition has sort of progressed and continued, and he does have the type 2 of the two situations, which is gives him a much longer outlook on life as far as is a much better, like,
Prognosis.
Prognosis. Thank you. I'm not good with medical terminology, but as his situation has progressed, he's to the point now where he can move very little, and as a result, what he has done is really, really, really sort of commendable. He has developed a very sort of extensive template or control list, or I don't know how you want to call it, but a list of commands, and he uses HCS voice packs, the voice command situation, and he completely flies his ship using voice commands. So it's an hour and 43 minutes long, phenomenal, very, very heartwarming, very, very inspiring conversation. And in that, X clipped out a 6-minute clip, and I have both of these. So I have the full hour and 43 minute thing that you can listen to, but X clipped out a 6-minute little YouTube clip as a separate piece that is just this guy landing, not using AutoDock, landing on his own using all voice commands. It's 6 minutes long. It's gone viral. It's been everywhere. It's been 3/4 of what everybody's talking about this week, as you'll hear later in Elite Week, from everything. Super, super cool.
Totally amazing.
Super cool. And big 07 to you, Commander Gracchus, Jerry Ferris. You're amazing. I think let's just cover it. I want to hit it now just because we're here at this. So
Yep.
in addition to that, in the conversation, and I'm not going to go too much into the guy's life, but he's had some hardships with regard to financial situation, and there's some stuff that he's dealing with, and he's kind of an older computer, and he's having a rough time because it's rough. So what X did was he was like, well, let's think about this. He created a GoFundMe, and the GoFundMe is for the purpose of having a computer built for Commander Gracchus. And so it was originally, they had a goal of $1,000. Let's raise $1,000 and get him a computer and get him a little something and upgrade his stuff. And they hit that goal very quickly. So they said, well, we're going to raise the goal to $1,500 and try to get a better situation. They hit that goal. We're now sitting at 2,000. They upped it to 2,000. They hit that goal. We're now sitting at $2,120. So with this $2,120, says we've now hit the stretch goal with roughly 48 hours. I've updated it again in the hopes that those who would still consider donating would do so, as our goal was always artificial in nature. Know that every penny will be going to Jerry and his family, and at this point, we'll be building him a rather great computer and peripherals that will last him many, many years to come. For me personally, I can't say how amazed I am at the generosity of our little community. From everyone who's donated to those who have shared the word, I can't thank you enough. And basically Exigeous is going to take this money. He's already talked about that he's reaching out to people to try to like cut deals to get like a discount on this, that, and the other. So he's making every penny count and stretching it as far as you can. And he's going to take all of that and he's going to build a computer for this guy so that, again, pinching the pennies and making it worth it. And they're going to take this whole setup and they're going to do a live stream at the day when it's done. They're going to be people, friends, and family there. They're going to be streaming it, and you're going to see the situation. So if you want to put a couple bucks in here towards this, you're going to be able to go and see what your money does to really sort of brighten the day and the life of a guy who, has dealt with some stuff, man. And
for real. I mean, you gotta watch that. Even just the 6 minutes to, if you don't have time for the rest of it, the 6 minutes to watch him dock, and then think about that the next time you're playing the game with your typical controls, because he's using his voice and like his thumbs, and he has special setups for that, and he's able to do this. And I think the goal for this computer, if I'm not mistaken, is we need to get this guy a VR setup. Is that right?
No. So that was you're right that was Exigeous' original thought. Unfortunately, due to Commander Gracchus's physical limitations at the moment with his spinal condition, he can't support the VR rig and really move around. The mobility is an issue. So what they're doing is they're getting him a phenomenal setup. But I think what Exigeous is looking to do here is also add other things. Like, there's things you can get where it's like, you can use they have this setup now where you can use your computer to like, turn your thermostat up or turn the lights, change this or change that.
Right. Yeah.
So what they're trying to do is get him like a really, really good system that will best sort of help his overall life situation and not just video gaming. But in addition to that, he's talked about, Jerry Ferris has talked about wanting to possibly stream or do something in the sort of realm of helping people of various levels of ability to interact and to find, joy through gaming and different things. And as a result, Exigeous has been looking into, because he's in a situation where he's got like a poor internet situation. They're trying to figure out some way between, I've heard everything talked about from this Starlink thing, because where the rural area where he's at, they don't have good internet options. Like Exigeous actually went on and said, well, let me see if I can just get him like a year on a decent deal too. And I can break that out of the money or whatever. And by just kind of going cheaper and cheaper on, doing more work and people donating this and that and the other, just to kind of make it go farther. And it was just really rough in that there just weren't options. So they're trying to think about different ways that they can best use that money to improve his overall life day to day, as well as an awesome computer.
Awesome.
I kind of feel like an asshole because I have not had a chance to watch this video. It's on my YouTube watch, so I feel like the asshole who's like, "What do you mean you haven't watched this video, Ty?"
No, man. This is life.
That's why it's up on YouTube.
Yeah, this is life, man. We're all busy. We're all this. We're all that. The fact that the asshole is the guy who says, "Man, screw that," and moves on. You're at the point where you're like, "Oh man, I haven't got a chance to see this thing yet. I got to get in on this," and that's beautiful for sure, man.
One of the things that I kind of talk about this a little bit in the very first episode when I kind of explain why I'm doing this podcast and stuff. But the thing that I have always believed in is that video games have a power that no other media has, no other art form has, and that is the ability to bring people together, bring communities together. And we say it all the time on this show about how good this community is. And of course, I'm the asshole who hasn't watched the video, but this is a prime example of something that has brought this community together for this. And it's anybody who thinks video games can't be powerful, can't do things, they do not know. They have no understanding of it. They're ignorant. So,
Yeah, man, I look at this and I say, you know, there's times where my life is, you know, like work is long and you're dealing with traffic and this, that, and the other and whatever. And you're just like, man, I need to escape from that. And I jump in to fly video games around the galaxy to escape from my troubles.
yeah.
And if you look at how ridiculously lucky I am to be, you know, healthy and able to do all kinds of stuff and this, that, and the other. And then you look at other people with different situations and how they might need just as much, if not vastly more, an avenue of escape into a world of the mind where they can just fly spaceships and not, you know, not deal with some stuff that is, you know, just sucks or whatever. Man, that's for sure. So for this, you know, for this situation, for the thing with Lieutenant Zephyr, where he's doing his thing for cancer research, for the stuff that Frontier is doing with special effects and stuff coming up, for all of these different things in this whole realm, man. Like, I'm not a big believer in telling anybody like, hey, go donate this now. Like, I don't know your life. I don't know your situation. I don't know what you can and can't comfortably do. But if you can, and if you feel like, man, you know, this right here, I've got a little extra right here. I can do a little something somewhere. However, wherever you choose to go, whether it's donating to one or the other, whatever, if you find a thing that brings you joy in helping out somebody in this type of situation, man, God bless you.
Well, like I said, now I feel like they are, but you know. Anyway, moving on, because we do need to move forward.
Yes, sir.
Before we get into Elite Week, I have one thing I want to talk about real quick, and that is getting some. And I've had a few people message me about this last few months, and I think it's time that we do it. Is that getting squadrons set up on the Xbox and PlayStation? So we're looking for a couple of people who might be interested in doing that. If you are interested, message me, Kai, or Trax, and we'll figure out who we want to do that, and we'll go from there. That way we have an in-game squadron. Speaking of in-game squadron, haven't checked today. We got no pending applications, 26 members. We do have an in-game squadron. We don't do anything with it yet, but it is Loose Screws Podcast. Feel free to join up with us.
If you're not affiliated with somebody and you want to be, you know.
Yeah. Well,
I people to talk to.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely wouldn't phrase it to say we don't do anything with it yet. We do stuff. What we're not doing is we're not doing background simulation, player faction things. What we're doing is getting together, having fun. You message people. You say, hey, I need to go get I just every day on the Discord, man. Every day I'm seeing, oh God, I got to go get I got to go get these AX weapons. I got to go out to the Guardian site. Blah, blah. Hey man, I'll go with you. Oh, cool.
Right, we'll double team that.
Let's go kill some interceptors, or let's go this, that, and the other. Like, people are finding fun things to do. PWP, man, player with player, every day. And whether you choose to do it in the squadron, if you don't have any squadron at all, come join us, or if not us, find someone else, but don't be without a squadron. Look for friends, bring them on board, do stuff with them. Like, player with players where it's at, man.
And just kind of give you an idea. So last season, this little squadron finished up 47th in Xeno Defense. And I'm going to talk about this season. I know we're early in this season, but we are number 42 in Xeno Defense, and we are number 4 in CQC.
Nice.
Woo! Out of thousands of squadrons.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Winged Hussars, I'm probably mispronouncing that. Elite United Worlds, CQC Discord are 1, 2, and 3. So just saying.
So basically we're 4th behind the people who focus on that, probably.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty cool. That's where we rank at. And I strictly started this because people were like, hey man, do we have a squadron? Yeah, I'll make one real quick. And then we're actually kind of ranking pretty, I want to say like really high, but we're ranking, respectably. And I think that's pretty cool. So,
and I'll be honest with you. Go ahead.
No, you do yours. I was going to close it up.
I'll be honest with you. I don't give a shit about where we rank on anything. What I like is that people are finding people and they're not being alone. They're like, hey, I want to go do this thing. I'll help you.
That's right.
Let's go. Like, that's what I care about. The other stuff, that's cool, man. When you read it, I don't want to say that in a shitty way. Be like, man, I don't care what you think. Like, it's awesome when you say it. I'm beaming with a big smile. But for me, if we were 9,000th place in every last category and people were all having fun, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it's not hard. There's no pressure to it. It's not a faction and we don't have to upkeep it. It's just, if you don't have a squadron and you want to log in and have a bunch of built-in friends, for one thing, you should already be in our Discord, and then you would find a bunch of friends to add anyway. But regardless of that, like, we can log in with this squadron on PC and go into chat and tab or type /s, and suddenly, you say hello, and then there's a bunch of people online in various systems around the galaxy to chit chat with. So if you haven't had a squadron, that's pretty much all it is, and we can set bookmarks for each other. That's about it. It's just some built-in friends. So if you're interested and you don't have one, and I mean, really, it's not a lot of work. So.
Well.
So with that, I think that's going to push us up into Elite Week. I'm actually going to step away for like 5 minutes, call into work real quick. Kai, will you take over with Elite Week real quick, and I'll be right back?
We have it.
Sir, I got you. We'll wait for you. Right. We'll see you back soon. All right. So, new to the Discord. First off, if you want to be part of the Discord and be one of the cool kids and get to do all this stuff, like Trax was just saying, why don't you join us? Tiny URL.
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Wow. You freak, you weirdo. No.
Get with it.
tinyurl.com/loose screws podcast. That's LOOSESCREWS PODCAST, no spaces. I spell it all out because sometimes people are like loose screws, spaces, whatever. No. So, all right. So, who joined this week? We got Witness Man, all shiny and chrome. We got Bob the Gaming Mermaid. We got Raphael B. We got JM Universe, Wolf 9800, Troll 1371, Hugh Borbaki. We got Han Swanson. I love that name, bro. It's the cross between Han Solo and Ron Swanson. That's a beautiful thing, man. We got Judge Raven from Plutarch Radio. Big salute. We got Crash Harper. We got Divergent, Stunned Sun Do 32. We got the Sixth Element, an Xbox player. Bring it, bro. We got Iris. We got Death King 5601, Narfi, Fingers McCoy, Smokey Sampson, Mr. Bones 3, Fancy Moco. That name cracks me the hell up. And any of you that speak Spanish, you know what I'm talking about. We got Sulan Zhao. We got English guy Ash. He's got to catch them all. He needs every last ship. We got Jalaman. So, yeah, big salute to you guys. So Discord shout outs. There's a whole lot through the week. We're going to skip through a bunch of stuff, but I just wanted to real quick give a shout out to Chig. He was listed as the hero of the Tharg battle in Inara, man. He has been tearing it up on those Thargoids. We got JN Trex for launching his Distant Screws expedition. Sign up process in EDSM. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know. There's a thing going on. We got Hugh Borbaki. He's heading off into the Formidine Rift for a deep survey. By the way, Trax, Hugh Borbaki said, yeah, man, I'm going to do this deep survey in the Formidine Rift, and then I'm going to rush back so I can get in. I don't think he's signed up yet. So he's not signed up yet, before the others, he'll be number 10.
He can do it.
And of course, again, this week, I want to give a big shout out and salute to Lieutenant Zephyr, the world's greatest shave. It's a charity for the Leukemia Foundation. I'm tripping over my own tongue. The link is in the show note. You can absolutely go and throw a few bucks that way, and whatnot. And a huge shout out to Commander Dubs. Last week when we did the thing, it was super, super late, and we didn't really get enough time to focus. I think all of us, including Dubs, was like, I'm tapping out now. It's like 1 a.m, 2 a.m, whatever. Let's go. But we're gonna follow up with him and have a little more conversation about a lot of the combat issues and this, that, and the other, because let me tell you something. Dubs is just a diamond in the rough, man. He is 100% an awesome resource for all the stuff that he's done in helping people design layouts of ships. I've heard him go and do Coriolis builds and link stuff constantly. I love his links, by the way, where he like links a 1.5 page long Coriolis build because he doesn't click the little one. I'm
The
always
short
like, it's huge. But yeah, Dubs is always helping people with combat advice and all that stuff. And I really want to have more of a conversation with him about some of that stuff. So look forward to that. On last week's hashtag story time. Okay, we didn't tell you what it was. We just said there's a thing. Go find it. Here it is, guys. It's the derelict Anaconda at HR 5906 2A planet. So the people that had their, Ty's going to tell you all about it in a minute, but the people that had their, or in a little bit, but the story.
I think he's back.
Were there. Yeah. We had, well, his thing comes later though. First we got Lustful Ewok. He was there first. Roughneck 57 followed him, followed by Commander DJ Wiley. Then we had the pack of weirdos show up and ruin things like always. So what we had here, a bunch of us went to just be silly, and Dubs parked his Anaconda right on top of the derelict Anaconda, and you just kind of have to hover there, but with the landing pad out and it's all the way down. And Dubs parked on top of the Anaconda. Raxla Smaxla parked her Anaconda on top of Dubs's Anaconda. Jay Antrex parked his Anaconda on top of Raxla. Lieutenant Commander Data parked his asp on top of all of them, and I parked my DBX on top of Data. And before that, we were screwing around, and while everybody was stacked up, I went back and jumped my SRV all the way up and landed for just briefly on Data, and then fell over and got stuck in the wreckage, and that was hilarious. So we were a skyscraper of stacked ships. That was some silliness, and that was very cool. And that was going to be the coolest thing that happened until Alec Turner won the internet with his, first he had several artsy shots and a video of an SRV that jumped off a cliff. It base jumped off a cliff in the mountain range, miles in the background, and then he was fliving many, many miles, many kilometers to get all the way to the derelict Anaconda and landed on it. There is a link that's going to come in just a moment to this video. You have to go see this video. This skill level is crazy good.
This driving is so wild.
Yeah, man. So last week's Kai's question: what do you especially love about Elite? Must be unique, so don't copy anything previously posted and make all posts with hashtag questions. So, mine was you don't have to be a murder hobo. Ty's was Elite in VR for the extended outward galaxy, just looking out on the planets and stuff and seeing how beautiful it is in the depth and space of the universe. Dubs's was the combat characteristics and flight model. So we got the Texarsis wrote in. He likes that I can play Elite the way I want. The way I play Elite is completely different from the way my friend plays it. It's such a beautiful open game. Atris 5060 wrote in, the fact that it's your story, not one written for you, that you make the choices and move the plot along, and that it's up to you and how you want to interact with the galaxy, whether to do it alone or with other commanders. Roughneck 57. Yeah. Roughneck 57 wrote in, the immersion in VR, the attention to detail that they put into the cockpit designs, and the audio really makes me feel like I'm in my ship. Nothing else out there does immersion nearly as well. Now, I allowed this one. What's that?
Except for the Asp Explorer. This is the only sound that's
You don't like that engine sound, bro. I allowed this one, even though Ty's was VR outward in the galaxy or whatever, and Roughneck's is VR in the cockpit. He likes the spatial awareness feel in the cockpit and all, so I allowed that one. DJ Wiley wrote in, it's the realistic model of the Milky Way galaxy. Damn, it blows my mind to think how huge the damn thing is and how I've got the freedom to do whatever I want in its sandbox. Nothing compares scale-wise in any other video game, period. That is my +1. That's the guy who won it for me, because my two things that I love most about this game are that you can do it not as a murder hobo, but I wanted to leave. This is my actual secret number one favorite thing, is the one-to-one recreation of the galaxy. But I was like, I'm going to leave that for someone else, because someone's going to throw that out there. It's going to be awesome. And DJ Wiley, you won, so you get a prize. Ty'll hook you up with that later.
Did you? Oh, the list's not done. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Alacron wrote in, honestly, this community. I've played this game for about 8 months now. I've played by myself for the majority. I did have a couple people I was playing with here and there, but they've went on to other games. Even though I don't really say much in chat, I enjoy jumping in to the voice channel and just listen in on your conversations and banter while I'm gathering mats or mining or whatever. Last week, a few of you guys got together and gathered the mats for me to get my Thargoid bobblehead. I didn't even ask for that. You guys just did it, so I would have it. ... Just outstanding! ! Alacron, like, absolutely. The people in our Discord are awesome, and we're super, super happy about that. But the fact of the matter is you're right, the whole damn Elite Dangerous community, whether I want everybody to be in our Discord and having fun with us, but Commander Burpit and the Down to Astronomy guys and Exegius guys and the AXI guys, there's just the community in general, everybody, the Hutton truckers, the Lave guys, come on, man, all good. Lieutenant Commander Data wrote in, one aspect of Elite that I enjoy and find unique to this game is the payoff. After setting your goals, such as unlocking an engineer or certain ship or system permit, I do have fun with the bouncing across systems, farming materials, running commodities, grinding rank. But what makes it all more satisfying is when you finally achieve what you're working towards and find that you and then can have fun with that new thing to create another way to have fun with the game. Data, you're 100% right, man. This game is so hard. I remember when you first start playing and it's like just docking hurts. It's so hard. Everything has to be so hard. But then a month later, when it's all easy to you, there's a sense of pride and accomplishment that comes from, this game makes you work for it. But once you get it, it's that much more valuable, man, for sure. Gav D. Cook wrote in, the thing I love most about Elite Dangerous is on the very rare occasions, the station traffic control will add 07 Commander as you leave the station. That's just beautiful.
I've never heard that. Like, I've been playing this game
one time.
Really?
Yeah.
I've definitely heard it a few times, and I think it maybe might sort of be more tied to like where your rank is with them or what. I don't know exactly where it comes from, but I've heard it a few times and I dig it. And he's right. I think the larger point that he's making here, without saying it, is the little touches, man. The little touches that they've added.
Sure.
So Lustful Ewok wrote in, the thing I like most about Elite is that there is so much to do, explore, bounty hunting, and more. This is the only game I've played for this long. It's my forever game until the new Elite comes out, of course. I had to add that in there, even though it's treading the line of some of the points that other people brought in. Just I had to have that because of the line, it's my forever game. I dig that, man. Commander McPherson wrote in, I have to agree with a lot of the answers already posted, especially the community. But one thing that continually makes me chuckle in this game are the NPC names. I know Kickstarter backers got to pick some, but sometimes they feel real random and funny. And anytime there is a nickname, it's just fun stuff. To which Ty responded, I killed Cthulhu in a Hazres a few days ago. To which McPherson responded, I flew by Alec Newton the other day. To which I responded, that guy refuses to fly with flight assist on. Yeah, that's a joke for you Newtonian physics guys in the room. Thank you, Trax, for laughing.
That's why I didn't get it. I'm too slow.
So Chig wrote in, what I love about Elite is how well it accommodates multitasking. Watching a series on Netflix or getting a work project done while farming mats or grinding scouts for rank or any number of other things just fits my style of gaming.
I love Elite because I don't have to play it.
Don't get me wrong. There are times that take full focus on the game, but it's the downtime that keeps me logged in the most. That's an interesting thought. All right. And again, here we go. Alec Turner wrote in. Okay, so obviously the shift flying model has already been taken, so I'm going to go with something a lot of people might disagree with. I love the physics of handling the SRV. I like that it's skittish and difficult to drive on ice or in low G scenarios, and that over a long period of time, parentheses, it's taken me years, you can really, really get skilled at it to the point where other people watch you and go, how is that even possible? I still remember doing the Hutton Cup Endurance SRV race back in 3302. It was 600 kilometer team endurance rally, estimated to take around 12 to 14 hours to complete. Me and a bunch of buckyballers entered the thing and we planned our route, team tactics meticulously. We were okay, but the winner, Timmy Brabston, everyone was watching him fly the SRV instead of driving it. He was spinning around in midair and landing backwards and stuff, and nobody had seen anything quite like it before. It's the way I fly the thing myself now. And man, when you're bounding over canyons and skimming along ravines while you're in an SLF, really exploring and engaging with the landscape ahead of you and really using all of your experience and skill to do it, not just like aim and go, No Man's Sky style. Yeah, that's the thing I quite like. And there is a link underneath his comment to the forum. I put the link there for the forum about the Hutton Cup challenge, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. And that has some videos on it, right?
Well, that's later. I'm going to get to the video part.
Okay.
That comes, yeah. But so that was everybody's, what I like most about Elite.
No, I didn't put one in.
For you didn't. Go ahead.
I didn't. Now. Well, I was gonna say I'm here now. I'm listening to all this.
Go for it.
It's going like yes, like all of this, of course. I'm just gonna add you guys. Like right now, being here with you guys in the community, being able to do this show, being able to put this all together, like this was my favorite thing before this podcast. And it's so my favorite thing now. So it's humongous, and all those answers are so right. And I'm just like tagged with this little asterisk. These my guys right here, Ty and Kai. Like they work so hard. Like Kai, like I was playing the game last night, and Kai pops in, "Hey, how's it going in the game? All right, I got to go work on show notes again." Like these guys work so hard. Love you guys. This is awesome. This whole thing is so good.
God does. I don't work at all. This is my show. I make y'all work. What are you talking about?
He's like, hold on. Will you do a show while I make a phone?
Okay, yeah, good. You know what? I just did the math on this, and it's the Mexican doing all the work. What the hell?
He figured it out. Quick, close the call.
Oh man!
No. Trump, just close the border. We'll be fine.
There we go. All right. So this week's Kai's question is, what game would you like to be, if you could pick any game to hybrid up with Elite, where it's like, okay, I got chocolate in my peanut butter. It's two great tastes in one. What game would you pick? I'm going to go first. My game would be BattleTech. I love the idea of having basically modified SRVs that are mechs that you would land on a planet that you would use for the purpose of, doing mining or trying to do some kind of resource gathering or whatever. But then let's be honest, because of the way this game is, it's going to devolve into combat. And I can't wait to be out there in my Locust or my Daishi or my, what was the one? The cat, the Mad Cat had the
I can't
LRM
remember
missiles, but the Marauder with the big gun over the top. I would love the idea to be out in the world on a planet somewhere and doing mech combat would be amazeballs. But also, I want to add in one last little thing. We're getting fleet carriers, and I know nobody's listening, but God, please, for the love of God, listen to this. Let this get to David Braben's ears, please, God. if you want to go out and mine, if you want to fuel scoop or mine or however it is, you're going to get your Jumponium for your fleet carriers. That's awesome. Or if you want to go to a station and buy it for credits, no arcs. Okay, that's also awesome. And they've already said that those two can be done. But I really, really wish from BattleTech, they had jump ships and drop ships. And so a drop ship would be like your vet or your Sidewinder or whatever ship it is that you're taking to fly in. But jump ships, it would be our ships in this game. Jump ships would be what the equivalent of the fleet carrier was. It would jump into a system and just hang out there. It never went down to planets or anything. And fleet carriers, I don't think will ever do that. So what I would like in that game, there were ways where you could go and real quick sort of buy fuel to charge it up if you had to go fast. But if you wanted to go slow, if you weren't in a hurry, you could jump a jump ship into a system and then just over like a 10, 20 minute period, unfurl a solar sail that would just sit there and collect solar energy from the star that you were kind of in proximity to. And you were
fuel scooping
that. Using that, you could recharge your jump drives. So if you have to go in a hurry, for sure, man, go scoop it up, make it a thing where like, I got to go and work to get this. But if I'm taking a slow boat, if I just want to jump this thing out 500 light years at a time in an exploration thing, and then I jump it out 500 light years, I stop, I spend 2 minutes unfurling the solar sail and let it collect energy for the next week while I am away flying, jumping from system to system, mapping out or exploring or having whatever, having adventures. And then I come back and then dock up, and it takes 2 minutes to reel in that solar sail. And now my jump drives are fully charged because I wasn't in a hurry. So I didn't have to really go out and grind stuff. I was able to just take the slow boat. That would be awesome. All right. Ty, Trax, who wants to go first with their idea of what game you would add and to hybrid up?
I'm going to let Trax go. I do have one, but I'm going to let Trax go first because mine is the perfect one. So,
okay. Let's put Fortnite in here.
No, Jesus.
No, I'm just kidding.
He's off the show. He's off the show.
I've never
done. Not playing with you, bud.
Hey, sound engineer guy, edit him out.
Justin, cut this all out. Cut this section out. I've never played Fortnite. I do not want that. I have no idea. Honestly, I was just going to make that joke. So Ty, you should definitely do yours.
All right. So, I think it was last summer or maybe the summer before then, I picked up a game on a whim called Subnautica. And it's this whole thing. Yeah. And like there's a VR component to it. Is this game where you crash like you're like a passenger and you crash on this completely water world. And then you have to like build underwater things, and it's, there's some diving elements in there, and there's a VR element. And I played the shit out of this game. There's like a Minecraft element to it, but it's not like a voxel type game. It actually has some beauty to it. And I made like a little underwater base, and I made a submarine, and it's just I just want to take Subnautica and Elite Dangerous and get them to kiss. Like, can we do that? Yeah, exactly, Fancy Moco. Yeah, it's amazing. The first time that I got I guess eaten by the squid monster or whatever, like I didn't really shit my pants because I'm in VR, and I was like, by the way, VR horror games scare the shit out of me. So yeah, but anyway, I want I either want that, or if we're gonna go down the line, let's have Robotech so my vet can transform into like a transformer. That'd be great too.
Well, isn't Robotech's the same universe as BattleTech and MechWarrior? That's all the same.
No, so Robotech, BattleTech was sort of inspired a lot by the Robotech stuff. Robotech it came from Japan, and it was a whole like a anime, and they had
I had a VHS when I was a kid. Yeah. But BattleTech was a sort of game piece, and you'll hear about it later. That was in Parallel Worlds. That it was a whole kind of a separate thing. They're different universes. They're different worlds.
Your post.
Okay, I listened to that Parallel Worlds, and I swear they said it was all the same universe, but I'm going to wait until you explain it all to me later.
Yeah.
Well, it's inspired by. It's inspired by.
Okay.
It was just a couple of American gamers, or I think they were American. A couple of gamers got together. They were inspired by that, and they started building a game that was a turn-based game that was.
Yeah. You're going to do it later, right? You can
sort
do the
of,
thing.
But briefly. I'm not going to get into that whole, but
Sure.
we'll talk offline.
Okay.
All right. Moving forward.
All
What's
right.
next?
So let's just go from there. Okay. Pro tip. All right. So a lot of people have been doing anti-Xeno stuff. Here is your pro tip. I keep skipping pro tip, but we're not skipping it this week. How do you target with the broken canopy? All right. You go into your options, controls, mouse controls, which is right at the top. And then you choose show mouse widget, which is the option at the very bottom. This will place a little dot right in the center of where your target reticle would be, even if your canopy is blown. So some people don't want it because it's like, it ruins my immersion. But if you're out there and you're doing PvP stuff and your canopy goes, or you're out there killing Tharg's minions and your canopy goes, and you're like, man, I just wish there was a way. There you go. You got a little dot, use it, have fun with that. So moving into Elite Week. Friday, February 7th. Here we go. We started with Hutton Orbital Radio. So that was recorded the night before, but it came out on podcast on Friday. So they talked about Operation Hot Mess, the details on ECM. Again, all proceeds go to Hearing Dogs for the Deaf and special effects. That is always good stuff. They talked about the, let me just pull this up real quick and say Operation Hot Mess right now, right this second, hot off the presses. 48.27% of the stations of the galaxy have a mug. They've been to 26,676 stations out of 55,266. God bless those guys.
Good Lord.
And as we discussed last week, this is not just a pointless exercise of a thing to do it. This is giving us a census of the galaxy. And so they are doing a huge service to the entire galaxy. All players, everyone that accesses EDSM or by extension Inara and EDDB.io. Did I say that right? I think I did.
Yep.
Yeah. So God bless you and for the mug.
For the mug.
All right. So other things they talked about, they got one of their guys has a 3D printer and he printed out a replica of a Federal Navy capital ship. I know Ty wants to get in on that. There was, so there's an HCS voice pack that will be coming for Cecil. It's a full control pack. They warned everyone in the show, this is a bad idea. Do not get this pack. I mean, if you want to get this pack, but they're warning you up front. It's a bad idea. Do not get this pack. The current Cecil voice pack from HCS is a companion. It's a companion pack. So like he just pops in and he can make, mix drinks for you, and he'll say rude things, and every once in a while he'll hit a button and you have to say, Cecil, stop that, because he'll turn off your shields or turn on silent running or do some kind of something.
Really?
Yeah, it's very, very crazy.
It's
very, very silly. And this is beautiful. So, like, basically the Hutton guys that are just absolute maniacs got together. They paid for all of this, the session time and the recording booth and all that stuff. And so every time that someone buys one of these Cecil companion packs, all of the money goes to charity. They did it. They set it up on purpose, so all of the money goes to charities. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. You can limit him to where with the current one, you can limit him to where he's not doing stuff. With the one that they're about to do, it's a full on, and it's going to have controls and access to do stuff. So they're like, hey, if you want to get this, for sure, figure out ways to limit it and tell him no. But
he's still really going to do all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really funny. It's really cool. I think you can actually limit it to where it doesn't cause like problems. But yeah, or just at the very least, just know if you're going into combat situations, if you're doing something that's not mining or exploration, you might want to you can go into Singularity and then tell like Cecil, like, hey, Cecil, take a break. I think there's even a command, Cecil, go to your room, and then like it turns off Cecil for a little bit, so you don't have to deal with that. It's just a beautiful thing, man. It's a good cause. It's funny. He'll like literally start randomly saying for the mug, or like start like he'll like if somebody is in system, if you jump into a system and there's somebody there, like another player, he'll be like, hey, you come fight me. Like just gets you into.
He'll say it in chat to the other person.
In system chat. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be interesting. Look into that. But Hutton orbital truckers bear no responsibility for blah 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 blah. May cause an erection that lasts more than 4 hours. Something. So be careful with that.
Wait, did you say erections for 4 hours?
Hey! Don't get into that.
Don't you guys' erections last 4 hours? Is that not normal? Do I need to see a doctor?
No, you're good, man. You're good. Stick with it.
All right.
So all money goes to charity.
That's what my doctor said to do. So
What have we done?
So, all right, bringing it back in, the mission commander of the current trip of the Aurora Australis, Commander Dog's Breath, that's his name in game, obviously. They have arrived at Davis Station. They're on their way to the second stop. So their mugs now, we can officially say, have been to Antarctica and are continuing on to their other spot. ECM 20 update, 175 out of 250 tickets have been sold. They opened it up to allow for more people. I think the original target was like 150. They're opening it up to 250. Get your tickets now while you can. There's going to be guys with all kinds of VR setups. It's going to be, literally they're doing this a couple miles down the road from maybe 0.22 kilometers. Wink from the actual Frontier towers, and they're just down the road a bit. So a ton of the guys from Frontier are going to be there. And if I had to bet, I would put a couple of dollars that they're going to get to see something about fleet carriers before everybody else. Just a little something. That would be an awesome thing to do. If you're listening, Frontier, let them hear it just like an hour before everybody, and let them post it and be heroes to their friends. It's cool. It's all fun.
Or just send it over to Loose Screws. I mean, we'll take it first. We can break it.
I would rather you send it to the ECM guys and let them share it with us, but
or Loose Screws.
Okay. So, guys, this is huge. I know everybody pay attention to this, all right? Haxcom.
What are those again?
Haxcom is doing an event on February 26th. It's going to be from 9 p.m. to midnight Central Standard Republic of Texas goddamn time. So February 26th from 9 to midnight, and the event is how to pop a Clops. They're literally going to teach people how to pop Cyclops. They're going to take you through, and it's going to be a master class in anti-Xeno stuff. If you live in America or anywhere else in the world and can make it between 9 and midnight Republic of Texas time, Central Standard Time.
Which is minus 6 GMT.
Yeah. I trust you on that. Then come down and for sure go check out the Hutton Facebook page if you want further details on it. But it's a cool Haxcom is the Hutton Anti-Xeno command, and they're going to hook you up, man. So Wotherspoon did his piece at the end of Hutton Radio. He's doing the powerful people pieces, the highlights, where he's going over all of the power players in the galaxy and talking about them. And this one was the origin story and life of Archon Delane. It's amazing. You have to go see it. It's hilarious. Love you, Wotherspoon. All right. After that, I'm going to add on here from the Instagram of the Princeton team in Antarctica. This is legit. Should be the sounds of our new lasers. They do. Just click on it. It's an Instagram. It's like a 20-second clip, and they drop a chunk of ice down this ice core that they drilled for absolutely fully scientific reasons. But then they're just screwing around and having fun with it. So they drop the ice in there, and it makes I don't know why, but apparently Doppler effect or something. It starts going pew, 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 and it makes cool sounds. So go check that out.
It's bouncing off the walls, and it's a ridiculous bit of physics.
Science, bitches.
Science.
All right. Burr Pitt, Which Space News came out. So in Burr Pitt's Which Space News last Friday, FDev on carriers, LTDs, LSP, and more. 8 minutes. So first he commented on Will's sly comment on fleet carriers. We've discussed it. Yeah, for sure. LTDs are still broken. Absolutely. Thargoids, AXI was way too good at clearing. So the Anti-Xeno Initiative was way too good at clearing out infestations. So FDev buffed the hell out of Tharg incursions. They are way, way, way harder to clear. Or possibly broken, ? But I think they did this on purpose, and what we're seeing based on everything, I think this is a dynamic change to the storyline of the game. I have no idea why Galnet's not talking about it, but yeah. All right. Paige Harvey is undocking. And then he gave us an awesome boost. He was like, hey guys, check out the Loose Screws podcast, which Burr, we love you. Oh, also the big news, the Burr Pit is the hottest new addition to edtutorials.com. Go check it out for all of this stuff. Show notes, links in the show notes. Okay, the Burr Pit then put out the Thargoid report. It was 4 minutes long. None of the information is useful to you now because this was last Friday and he's putting out a new one from literally when this podcast airs. About 2 hours later, he's going to put out his new one. So here's what I'm going to say this week, because it feels weird to just go, yep, Thargoid report, but that's all old news. Go right now to the Burr Pit and subscribe to his channel and look for his Thargoid report when it actually comes out in like 8 hours from now, because I guarantee you it's better than the one I give. Like, we have the same information, but he says it better. When you say it with one of those British accents, it's just better. All right. So FDev sent out an email saying Elite Dangerous newsletter number 286. They talk about the Game Blast 24-hour charity live stream coming up. They talk about their live radio live stream recap. They talk about their store spotlights. You can go get your paint jobs. EX Friends on Friday, Jerry Ferris. We covered that already, Commander Gracchus. And they talk about the Thargoid bopping gift. They've got a new gift that you link. I linked it in the Discord for everybody here. You can just click on it, and it's like literally you're rolling up a newspaper and just smacking a Thargoid. Like, no, that's a bad Tharg. Don't eat our people. All right. So then Parallel Worlds podcast drop. Now, Parallel Worlds isn't exactly Elite Dangerous. It's all things sci-fi, but it's Elite Dangerous adjacent. And I do all these notes, and I love Parallel Worlds, so you're going to hear about it. The first thing they talked about was mega structures of sci-fi. So Dyson spheres, Elite Dangerous generation ships, Halo Shield Shield worlds, Ring worlds, Stellaris, the Death Star, all of that stuff. Then they talk about BattleTech. They have the full story. Wotherspoon did it. He nailed it. And I want our fleet carriers to have the option to sail with the solar sails, to charge that way. And tracks later on, I'll explain to you.
Yeah. Don't worry about it.
Robotech. Okay. Then they talked about this very, very cool, unique game called the Luminaries. You can go right now and look it up on Twitter. It's unique it's never existed that I know of in the world. It's a unique Twitter game. It was a choose your own adventure. It was done by Twitter poll every day for 6 months. The author would go in and encourage people to argue for their choice. They would do the votes, and the author would interact with the players and say like, hey, I like this guy's argument, or I like this guy's, and they would go back and forth with it. It was just a neat
adding
experience.
Info and answering questions and stuff.
All kinds of stuff, man. It was super, super interesting. They had a whole discussion on Babylon 5, top to bottom, the stuff about it. They had a long Star Wars Rise of Skywalker discussion. And then they had what is possibly the most interesting story of the whole thing. And it was all good. So this is saying something. The story of Dintara Rast. Now, a lot of people might not know this, but the plot of Frontier First Encounters, released back in 95, had in that game there was a key story. It was sort of a story that was following you along and had certain key hooks for story mode missions. And one of them was to assassinate Dintara Rast. Dintara Rast was the key figure in the progression of the game. He led an independence movement of Talalia in the 3250s, which is when the game was set. And you were working for the governments, the local governments, and this guy was kind of a dirty dude. He was like a quote unquote freedom fighter, but he was also leaning heavy on sort of the terrorist side. So the mission to go kill him was a thing that most people, took and went and did. So that was a cool, interesting character from from Elite First Encounters back in the 90s. Now let's cut to the game Eve. In Eve, there was a player named Kali Dintara who created the Eve Investment Bank back in early 2006. Now, this allowed for conversion of ISK to dollars, tracks. That's the whole conversation we're at. And it did its work really, really well. It was well trusted. It was efficient. It was stable. Everyone was using it. It became a thing. It just became a absolute trusted sort. Like, okay, in Eve, everyone's screwing everyone, but sort of somehow the Eve Investment Bank, the EIB, was above it all. They were separate. They were trusted. They were Blue Star. Everyone knows exactly where this is going. Of course, by August of 2006, the bank had grown its assets to 800 billion ISKs. And then one day, the bank dissolved. The account of the player, Kali, just disappeared completely. And the $100,000 actual real world cash value of the ISK was nowhere to be found. They put up a 10-minute long video mocking people for their loss out on the forums, and the forums caught fire. CCP, the company who runs the game, refused to intervene as Kali didn't break their terms of service. CCP has always had a laissez-faire attitude to all of this and said, you do whatever you want with the economy. We don't care. You want to buy stuff for real cash? You want to sell stuff for real cash? You want to do anything at all? We don't care. And if you get lied to or screwed or robbed or cheated, that's on you. We're not getting involved. Don't do anything. We encourage you to not trade or do anything with anyone ever, because they'll lie and steal and cheat you. And if you don't listen to that warning, go off and have all the fun you want. When it blows up in your face, we're not getting involved. So a bunch of the players did a huge investigation. They tried to sleuth out who was Kali, and they were trying to dox and trying to hack and trying to do all the things that people do. And they found the real player behind the theft was a person named Dintara Rast. Well, they didn't understand the reference, but clearly whoever gave that name knew about that character from the 1995 Elite game. And so that's the story of how Dintara Rast from Elite Frontiers made off with over $100,000 cash and got the last laugh on the entire Eve community, and has never been caught. Is still out there. Is maybe playing Elite Dangerous for all we know, or Star Citizen or whatever. But interesting story. So for both the PDF or the full podcast, go to www.parallelworlds.uk and check it out. Again, the link is in the show notes. But this thing is amazing. It only comes out once a month, so I took a minute to.
I'm like partway through that episode, and I hadn't heard that last segment. I haven't heard that yet, and now I'm like, okay, that's my morning.
Spoiler. Sorry.
Yeah. No. I'm excited to go listen to it now.
Oh yeah, it's super good. All right. So also, Sagittarius Eye launched a plugin for the ED Market Connector. A link is in the show notes. I'm not going to read that one out. It's like 18,000 letters and numbers. Go to the show notes and get that because it's cool.
What does it do? Do you know? Is it short to say?
So what it is like in ED Market Connector, like when it pops up in the ED whatever EDM or whatever,
it's like
when it pops up in that app, it's going to be like, hey, there's a new story out for like Sagittarius Eye.
Okay.
So like you can just like click and get the news feed hot off the presses.
Right on.
All right, now let's get to the Exegious section. We're going to do this real quick. So first, there was Quickies with Exegius, 240 million credits per hour wing laser mining. That's a 3-minute and 27-second video. The long story short is you go to Buran, you take a full wing, you mine LTDs, and you take advantage of the fact that LTDs are booked right now and you can make a ton of money.
Getting quick.
I do not know how long this method is going to work, but for now, it works. Then he did his Friends with Friday with Commander Gracchus, as we've already covered, and then the clip with Commander Gracchus and the GoFundMe. Also, just I'm throwing this out there on the off chance, if anybody knows Commander Gracchus, Jerry Ferris in game, do not mention any of this to him because he doesn't really do a lot in the elite community. Like, he doesn't watch a lot of the videos and stuff. And sort of Exegius is trying to do this on the sly so that it's a surprise. So don't mention it. Don't be that guy. If you know him, if you whatever, if you don't say, hey, Gracchus, like, just don't be that guy. Then there was the epic debate of Exegius versus the pilot that we covered already. 49-minute long clip. It's a very, very good discussion. Go check that out and tell us. Join the Discord. Tell us what you think. Write in to the email. Tell us what you think, how you land on that whole debate, because it's a very, very interesting question. There is no wrong answer. It's just personal opinion. We'd like to hear it. So Saturday, HCS Voice Pack launched their alpha release. Remember, this was the Desperado guy that I told you about. So the pre-sale is the pre-release, whatever sale price is done, but now it's out. So go get it if you want it. There was a very, very cool Thargoid activity map that was posted on Reddit. Did I linked that for you guys? Did you guys get a chance to look at that? Go take a look at that. It's very awesome and interesting, and it makes me long for knowing what's in that Col 70 sector.
Yeah, story, please.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Down to Earth Astronomy put out a video on Saturday. Ship Control from the Tablet, a Game Glass review. It's 14 minutes long. Let me tell you something. I've seen a bunch of these Game Glass. Like, Game Glass has just reached everyone. This was a sponsored video, but an honest review with criticism. He was like, hey, let's go mining. They used the ring finder. It was missing some rings. He's like, this is neat, but it needs more integration with the community tools like Inara and EDDB, EDMT, the whole 9 yards. The combat shard has an extra info on there so that you can actually, without digging through other screens, you can see further information on like on not warrants. What is it? The bonds and stuff that are out for the different guys that are pirates and whatever that you're attacking.
It's like the intersystem bounties.
Yes, you can do that. For mining, there was a very cool thing where you could just toggle the pulse wave scanner. So if you're out there core mining, you just hit pulse wave and then you hit repeat, and then it'll just keep doing it while you fly around. That was cool. And then you could set the charges. So you could you just hit low, medium, or high, and it'll drop a charge. It shows prices on minerals you find, cell location finder, etc. There was some criticism about they should add landing pad size and more information on the demand as well, as well as a clipboard function, so you can just click on it. The setup was easy and worked well. It took them about 15 minutes. For free, you can get the flight and combat. Extra shards cost you extra money. You have to actually pay for those, but you can get the flight and the combat ones for free. You can get a discount with this link, yada, yada, yada. It was interesting. He had a list of things that he would like, sort of like, hey, I want more of this, I want more of that. He'd like a wing shard, he'd like an SRV shard and an SLF shard. And then he broke into his own video saying, oh, by the way, while I was editing this, they said they're doing the SRV and the SLF shard. I've seen a bunch of people like do reviews or paid whatever, or commercials or whatever you want to call it for this Game Glass. And I got to tell you, man, this is because I've always sort of ignored it because I'm a HOTAS user, and I've been like, oh, that's cool for them. I don't, whatever. But he's like, yeah, I use my HOTAS, but I like this for this. He's like, I don't like this. They need to work on that, but I like this for this. And this is the first time where I'm like, yeah, I think I might go get that, at least the free one, and play around with it a little bit, just as a second, I don't really want it so much as a touch screen. I want it more for just just glance down and now I've got secondary information that I don't have to like click a button to go into a menu for. It's just there. So, man, down to earth astronomy, man. He sells me on shit. Him and the pilot, they sell me on shit. Has Mango did a video going to the Witch Head to kill Thargoids PvE. It's an hour and 17 minutes long. Some of it is him going to kill. Some of them is just getting ready and talking about it and whatever. He's prepping. He's talking about what he wants from fleet carriers. He pulls up videos and stuff from other games. It's like, I would like this. I would like that. And he shows a bridge on a fleet carrier on some other game. Very cool video. Go check it out. I'm becoming a fan of Has Mango. So Sunday started with a very, very cool Polygon.com article that was brought to me. It was sort of the three wise men. So Atris 5060 posted it in our Discord, and then he said, but I didn't find this. I'm crediting Wotherspoon. Wotherspoon is the one who brought it to my Discord, and Wotherspoon piped in and said, well, Shan brought it to me. So the three wise men of Atris 5060, Wotherspoon, and Shan brought this article to me, and I wanted to credit all of them for it. I think Shan was the original finder, unless Shan gets back to me and says, well, actually, Colin gave it to me. But so
update next week.
Yeah, right. To be determined. But the article is called How to Be Heard by Game Developers. It is a very, very cool article. Right now, if you go to the forums, if you go to any sort of chat in game, any function where you've got what do you call it, like message sections of YouTube videos or whatever, there is a deluge of people that have opinions, that some of which they explain coherently and some of which are just ranting and whatever. But a lot of people, I feel right now, have a lot of feedback that they want to give to Frontier development. I would recommend that those people read this article and then think about how they want to frame what they say so that it will have a higher chance of being successfully heard and responded to in a way that you would like. For example, saying, screw you guys, you suck, you're the worst ever, I want to murder your wife and kill your dog and set fire to your house, might not be the best way to get a guy to say, he seems rational. Let's hear his ideas. So check it out. It's a very cool article. I like it. I dig it. And I think I'm going to do something with it. Crimson Gamer 99 posted Elite Dangerous, a message from Galnet. It's a 2-minute long video. I included it. It's hilarious. This guy is getting a message from Galnet. It's spoiler alert, it's not real, but he's getting a message from Galnet where it's like,
I was going to say, so he's the one.
No, yeah, he's getting a message from Galnet saying, hey, this is actually this new locking the docking computer. The fact that now it can take off on its own or whatever. This is really Thargoid trap, don't fall for it. It's going to get you, whatever. And it's really, really funny as a fake Galnet article. Quickies with Exigeous collecting meta alloys of the Barnacle Forest system in Hyades sector AQY D81 planet C2. It's 130,000 light seconds from the jump. So, it's a 10-minute trip in. You need a surface scanner, an SRV, and a cargo rack. Don't shoot the drones. That'll be very, very bad. You can use this for unlocking Felicity in the cargo racks. Also with Quickies with Exigeous, collecting the Thargoid sensor fragments. Again, so links to both of these in the show notes. Those are for unlocking Sidesi and Palin. And they're good. Rusty Dog with his Sunday stream, mining where the pirates are. It's a 3 hour, 55-minute stream. It's very, very cool. Somebody is apparently riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, I heard that too. That's crazy.
Through my living room. That's interesting. Congrats, bro. That's awesome. You had $80. That's good for you. He plays around with mining and resource extraction sites while his friends are killing the pirates. it's fun. And in the last 20 minutes, I was
Yeah.
on with him and I was just showing him lots of links to bad sales, like yard sales and stuff. And he was like showing them and sharing them with everyone. It's, again, Rusty Dog, man, it's your Sunday chill time, man. It's just, I can't even explain it. Just when you go and you watch one, you'll be like, well, what the hell am I watching? This is amazing. He's my buddy now. Like, that's just go check it out, man. All right. So Monday, the Loose Screws podcast interview series dropped. Wotherspoon, the
Who the
Big
hell is
Daddy.
what?
Who the
Wotherspoon.
Wotherspoon's gal news?
What in the hell? The what podcast? Anyway,
The Loose Screws. I
see
don't
what
know.
you're saying.
They're good guys. They're all right. I
I
don't
missed
know.
what you meant.
No, I know where he was going with it, but I was just, yeah. So the link is in there. If you have not checked out the interview series with Wotherspoon, you need to go do it because it's just amazing. Later Sunday, or Monday rather, Drew Wagar dropped Elite 1984 all the way to Elite Dangerous 2020. It's a 2-hour, 8-minute long video. It's amazing. He literally boots up Elite in an emulator from 84 and plays it. And he goes through the different games, through the history, bringing it all the way up to Elite Dangerous 2020. It is the primer. It is the sort of wet your whistle, get you started. Hey, here's this, that, and the other. And the big lore tour is coming. Amazing discussion. Drew Wagar, as always, amazing. Go check that out. Link is in the show notes. Hello Dave dropped his, Down to Earth Astronomy dropped his Hello Dave number 135. My real job is not YouTube, 8 minutes long. He talks about the supply and demand, the story that never ends. He explains that he's bored talking about it. And you know what? I am as well. So whatever, we'll leave that behind. He talks about his master's in astrophysics from the Niels Bohr Institute in Copenhagen. And all of that stuff. And I'm not going to try to even sum it up because I will screw it up. And yeah, it's not worth it. He talks about the live stream that he's doing, more blunderbuss tinkering. He's got this idea that people have been talking about phase sequencing, the Kryto scramblers. And he is like, I don't think it works the way you guys are thinking it works, but if it works that way, that would be amazing and awesome. The link is in the YouTube, or the YouTube link is in the show notes. Check it out. And spoiler alert, I'm not even going to tell you how that other thing happens, but it happens later on and you're going to have to see for yourself because it's pretty cool. Elite Dangerous live stream on Monday, the Let's Play. It was just a chat with Paige and Steven. They were doing some sort of presumable, a little bit of gameplay, but mostly it was sort of a relaxed chat, and they were going through a lot of different things, talking about, this, that, and the other. They talked about the stellar screenshots, the week of everything that happened in Elite. It was just a cool little fireside chat video. Obsidian Ant dropped his 3306 series, 240 million credit per hour. That was the Exegious thing that we talked about. He talks about the 24-hour live stream coming up. He talks about the lore tour. It's a 7-minute long video on the live stream. They talk about for every 1,000 pounds that FDev unlocks milestones. He commented on Will Flanagan's fleet carrier statement. Everyone has been talking about that. That was not just a little thing. That was a thing. He talks about the Drew Wagar lore tour that's coming up in the video. He talks about the ECM 20 meet. Go check it out. Monday night, the Commander Exegius' Sidewinder Slaughter event took place. It's every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time, Eastern Standard Time. So 7 p.m. for you Republic of Texas people. Also, it's repeated every Wednesday at 8 p.m. UTC for the Brits to go out, or Europeans really, to go out and murder each other and have some fun. It's a very, very cool thing. We've already covered it. It's a very simple, fun way to go out and do some PvP and have fun at a very low risk sort of way. On Tuesday, Dr. Nagy dropped a picture. Paige Harvey undocking announcement reaction pic. These were members of the Perseus Reach expedition. The picture we posted in the Discord. It's a beautiful picture. They basically gave her an 07 made out of a bunch of ships from members of that expedition. Much love to you, Paige. Much love to you, Dr. Nagy. Quickies with Exegius dropped his Road to Riches 5-minute video. You know what the Road to Riches are, and if you don't, go watch that video and learn how to make some money for your exploration rank. Then Quickies dropped Unlocking Worthless Engineer Chloe Sadesi. This video is hilarious. It's a savage joke. He literally just says, she's worthless, but if you want her, do the guide from Professor Palin. That's the whole video. It's like a Quickies with Exegius. It's like a 12-second video, and then like the credits roll. It's hilarious. X, you are a savage. Guard Frequency dropped its podcast number 294, Tony is Wrong. They covered the FDev financials. They covered the Hutton Antarctica mug. They covered the Wotherspoon's letter. Wotherspoon, they did a letter. They said, what do you want, elite feet or base building? Wotherspoon wins the internet for saying his letter was, do you want elite feet or base building? I'll take atmospheric landings. Thank you very much.
Yay.
Yeah, right. For sure. They talked about so Star Citizen and CIG for Star Citizen News, CIG and Crytek, they've asked for continuance to settle. When you do that, that means they're both sides asked for it. So like they're actually settling. So that whole thing is going away. Star Citizen had an issue with the Expanse writer. So one of the Expanse is not written by a person. It's a fake pen name, and it's two prolific sci-fi writers. And so like the Twitter account of the writer, you never know which one of the two is tweeting, but one of them hopped into Star Citizen, went to play. There was a bug that they found that was particularly
irritating.
It bugged them. It irritated them. Thank you very much. And so they posted about it like, hey, this is, and they posted about it on the Star Citizen forums. Or tweeted, they tweeted about it. Yeah. And then the Star Citizen guys, like people flamed the hell out of them. And even the guys at Guard Freak were like, hey guys, this is a very beloved author of a very, very cool sci-fi thing that could maybe bring more people to the table at some point in the future. Maybe don't flame the hell out of them. Let's all settle down and be grown-ups. Interesting conversation. They also did the coverage, their continual ED role play session. So go to guardfrequency.com and check out the quote, best damn space sim podcast in the universe. Because they're not an elite dangerous podcast. They're a space sim podcast. They talk about all kinds of different stuff. So Lave Radio dropped they had their guest Exegius on. So they had an epic Star Wars conversation. Then Psycho Cow and Exegius had a VR talk where they talked for like 20 minutes on all things VR. That needs to be a show. The two of them need to be doing a VR show. Operation IDA is celebrating their 100th base fix. The edtutorials.com and Materials Finder. Exegius walked them through that, and it's the same thing that that we did the week before, like a discussion on how all that stuff works and yada yada. Walked them all through it. It was very, very cool. Then Exegius talked about the stream with Commander Gracchus, which we've already covered. Game Glass is getting new themes and more modularity to match our keybinds. Escape Velocity Season 4, it's still a thing. They're in pre-production and there's a lot of stuff they're working, but they haven't forgotten about it. It's not dead. The guy from Escape Velocity wants you to know it's in the works. And they talked about the 24-hour charity stream. Immediately following that was Galnet News Digest. Galnet with Wotherspoon, man, just all good. The blankest blankness. Galnet articles stay up for 30 days and get pushed off. They get pushed one back when one comes out, but after 30 days, they rotate out. As of literally today, our last article was on January 14th. So as of today, the time of this taping, February 14th, the Galnet feed will just be blank. There's literally no news that FDev is reporting to us, despite the fact that, There's been a reinvasion by the Thargoids, which they mentioned briefly, but there's new characteristics of this invasion. The incursions last longer. They're much harder to fight off. They're not reacting the same ways, and that they're not triggering new incursions till we fight off these like triple, quadruple hard old ones. Everything is like sort of different in how they're reacting. There's the whole supply and demand issues and all the fluffage. They could have brought out something about the low temperature diamonds being borked or whatever. They could have talked about a scheme that was uncovered. Please, for the love of God, Frontier Developments, think about poor Wotherspoon. Give him some news.
It feels really weird for Galnet to not have anything in there. That feels really weird.
Yeah.
I don't know how, like that. That's almost kind of like a foreboding thing. And like, I kind of figured that would happen when the game died and we moved on to Elite Deadly or something, it doesn't feel right.
I agree with you. I get it. I don't think that's the case, just because I think what it is right now, they have everybody wrapped up in this 2020 thing. I get what you're saying now.
No, I mean, without a doubt, that's where they are, but it feels, it just feels really weird. Like
please, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It just feels really weird for them to not have. I mean, no news, man. That feels alien to me. I don't like that.
And there's a lot to discuss. There's a lot happening in the game. Break out somebody, please. Break somebody out for an hour or two. Put them behind the desk. And there needs to be 1 or 2 Galnet articles every week. You can literally, I understand they say like, well, we don't want to do these stories that don't link directly to the game. There's tons of news directly to the game that you could have added in there. You could do one about, hey, you're hearing rumors that there's some new technology out there for weird paint jobs or whatever. These iridescent gleam paint jobs, which you're about to auction off for charity. You could talk about the difference of the Thargoid attacks. That's a literal thing in game. It's a direct, actual thing in game. They said, hey, we're going to talk about things that happen in game. The Thargoid attack, the differences and all that, that's in game. These new paint jobs that they're putting in there, and the fact that they're going to allow people to name some of the planets or systems or stars or whatever that they're auctioning off for charity. The whole mining debacle / whatever that you want to call it, where this has been implemented. These are all things that happened in game that you can point to. That this is not the story of the guy that stole the ship to go out and search the galaxy for the area of light. This is concrete, actual physical things that you can link to. Please, please, please give us some Galnet articles. Let somebody break out one guy for a couple hours and let them just do concrete stuff that's happening, but don't let the Galnet feed die. I beg of you. All right. Also, Wotherspoon went with Reddit stuff that's happening in Reddit. They're going to do, since we've had pictures of ass in front of things, now we're going to have pictures of ass behind things. There's a 24. That they've also talked about the miners' blues. The people that are upset about the nerf to the economy and whatever. Yeah. He talked about dinner with the devs that's coming off in the upcoming 24-hour live stream, and he did his little thing about being released from. He was chained to a radiator after saying that Loose Screws podcast is the best podcast. Yeah. We love you too, Wotherspoon. I disagree with you. I think that Galnet News Digest is the best damn podcast because you are making it up as you go and you're doing it well. But I appreciate very much your sentiments. P.S. He fixed it. He fixed it with the Lave Radio guys by saying that Lave Radio is the best elite dangerous podcast in the entire galaxy, which features regular bathroom renovation segments. So P.S. Wotherspoon and everyone listening to the sound of my voice right now, stay tuned for our new weekly segment of Loose Screws podcast, Bathroom Renovations with Old Man Ty, coming next week. All right.
Why do I have to redo my bathroom?
The link is in the show notes. Go check out Wotherspoon. Go check out Galnet. Go check out Lave Radio, man. Good show. It was a great show. Down to Earth Astronomy. Yeah. Down to Earth Astronomy put out a Tuesday stream about the Kreider Scrambler and phase sequence. Is it worth it? He starts off with that. I'm not going to spoil it for you. You got to go check it for yourself. The link is in the show notes. But even after that, he goes and starts tinkering with other things with the ship, starts tinkering with other of the modules, not the hard points, other modules on the ship, and has some ideas of, okay, what about this? What about this? Go check it out. On Wednesday, Frontier's epic 24-hour charity stream in support of Game Blast and special effects is almost here. This is a big announcement they made. At midday on Friday, 21st, February 20th, we will... February 2020, we will be live from Frontier Studio with 24 hours of fun-filled antics in Elite Dangerous, Planet Zoo, Jurassic World Evolution, Planet Coaster, and more. We're doing all of this to raise as much money as possible to support of Special Effect, an amazing charity who transforms the lives of gamers with physical disabilities by creating new ways for them to play the games they love. In our previous charity streams, we've all raised over £150,000 for this amazing cause. Money which goes a long way to help those in need, as well as the extraordinary professionals who give up their lives to help and care for them. The day will be filled with challenges, chats, giveaways, and more, so you don't want to miss out. Here's just some of the activities you can look forward to. Our epic charity auction features prizes such as dinner with the developers, custom planet prizes, name a starport in Elite Dangerous, and lots more. We're looking to put the auction live next week. The Frontier Pub Quiz, Planet Coaster, Backseat Builders, Elite Dangerous RPG session, Buckyball Racing, Planet Co. Quiz, Jurassic at this. It's a lot of stuff. Go check it out. There's a link to the TV, twitch.tv Frontier Forum, Frontier Developments. And there's a thing for you where you can donate. Go to www.justgiving.com/fundraising/Frontier-Game-Blast20. Link is in the show notes, so you don't have to try to type it out as I say it. Go get involved. That's super awesome. As a little note, a personal note to Frontier Developments, if you're listening, it's very cool that you're auctioning off dinner with the developers. That's super, super awesome. There's a lot of people that aren't close enough to be able to take advantage of that are huge fans of yours, 3 of which are right here in this comms channel. I would like you guys to auction off a stream date with the staff. So you say like, hey, you can get
FaceTime
a 1 hour
dinner.
stream. Yeah, basically, the idea behind a stream date is like, hey, I'm going to bid and go on a quote unquote stream date with Will Flanagan or Stephen Benedetti or Don Antonacci or Paige Harvey or Dav, or, maybe even put out a big one and see if someone's going to put down some big cash to have a 1 hour stream date with David Braben. And like literally it's like, okay, we're going to log in, we're in comms together, we're going to go drive SRVs, or we're going to fly around and do, like, you get to pick something. It's like, man, I want to go race SRVs with David Braben while we just talk about, like, hey man, tell me some of the cool ideas that you had when you were first thinking about this back in 1984 or whatever. Obviously, guys, if you win this, anyone who's got the money to put forth to win something like this is not going to be a jackass and be like, tell me about Raxla, tell me about Fleet Carrier. Like, yes, they're not going to tell you that stuff, but you could have a really cool conversation of like, man, let me ask you a question. If you had the Star Citizen backing, if you had all that CIG, billions of dollars, what would you do with it? And you might get an answer back like, oh my God, that's sounds like a curse in disguise. Like, it sounds like a great idea, but it's a trap. I like where we're going with things, or, whatever. Like, it could be neat. Or like, man, I want to go out and do rally racing, or go out with, Will Flanagan and light up some Hazreses or whatever, an hour-long thing they could auction off. And it would, it would be cool, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sorry. My wife came home from the ballet and my dog started barking and I muted my mic as quick as I could.
No worries. All right. So Down to Earth Astronomy later that night put out a atmospheric flight demo video. This is the fan-made video. This was, we've seen Ant put out a video on that a bit back. This is a 6-minute long video. It's just pure joy. There's something about that guy, man. When Down to Earth Astronomy puts out a video on something, you just see him smiling and like flying around. He's like, oh, this is so cool. And I'm like, yes, it is. It is very cool. It's cooler than I thought it was now that I see you do it. Also, Astro put out space. So this is an older video that it just jumped in right after this new fan made video. He put out Space Legs Maybe Better Than You Think. This was from back in May 29th of 2019. Basically, the crux of it is if we get space legs, that will put a ton of pressure on Frontier development to address instancing so that the stations don't seem empty. And he's saying like this could be sort of an interesting, cool backdoor way into getting them to focus more on instancing things, which if they do it for people in Elite Fleet walking around in stations, it would have to also work for flying around. So it could be an interesting way to kind of get more of what we want. So I dig that. Links in the show notes. All right. Thursday, today, recording day. I'm almost done. Crimson Gamer 99 put out, this was an older video as well. Every ship in Elite Dangerous in 1 sentence or less. It's a 5-minute long video. It's an old video from November. I mean, it's a couple months old, but it's hilarious. And I wanted to include it just because Crimson Gamer 99 put out more stuff like that. That was amazing. That was really, really great. Alec Turner. All right. So I told you in the story time about that you get more on Alec Turner. Alec Turner put out his base jumping and flying to the derelict Anaconda video. It's a 6-minute long video. Look, when I put this in the show notes and when I put this in the page earlier today, this video had 16 views. Okay. This video needs to have 1 million views. God damn. The control and skill of flying is amazing. He literally base jumps off of a mountain that's, I don't know, 20 miles away from the derelict Anaconda site. And anybody could post a video where they're like, look at me, I'm flying, I'm cool. When you're like over open terrain or even broken terrain, but you're just flying sort of left, anybody can do that. In this, he's jumping, he base jumps off this cliff and he drops far. And then he's bouncing off of mountaintop to mountaintop and jumping and doing crazy shit. At times he's like spinning around and going backwards or upside down or whatever. I have no way to describe. If you were to tell me like, hey, if you could do that, we'll give you $1 million. I would not be able to do it. This guy, what he was talking about, where he says what he likes about Elite is the ability to get good with something incredibly hard and then, feel that accomplishment. Go look at this video. The link is in the show notes. It's just incredible. And like I said, the video has 16 views. Don't just look at this video. Watch the video and click on there to subscribe and be notified when he posts stuff. This is the guy that runs the Buckyball stuff. This is the guy that, I mean, this guy's a monster. Look at I challenge anyone, watch this 6-minute long video and tell me you think you could do that. He flies mountainside to mountainside. He's jumping, doing all kinds of stuff. And he ends up exactly at the Anaconda, the derelict Anaconda site. It's not just, I'm going to jump from this mountain or whatever. He's like, okay, in the next 6 minutes, I'm going to go 20 miles that way and get to an exact fixed point while I'm jumping and flying. And I would have, seeing the video, if you rewatch it, you can rewatch it a second time and go, oh, there's no way he's going to get there. And even knowing that he gets it, it's just impossible. But he does it, and it's amazing. Have you guys seen that video?
He's crazy. I've seen several of his videos. I didn't watch that one in particular, but I know. Oh man,
yeah. I watched this one here. It's, man, I'm always amazed by the way that people actually do that whole. To me, the I'm not saying flying. I'm not saying that.
You just said it.
The way, I'm a big believer that the SRV is shit, and I want it to go away. I want something else. But that being said, I'm amazed when people who are far more skilled than me can do things with it. But yeah.
Well, hey, I think Alex Turner has something to say to you. He says, "Get good, scrub." You and I are going to have to get good together because I'm totally right with you on being a scrub with my SRV. I want to learn to do that, man. Trax, it's the last video that's posted in the links channel.
Yeah.
You check it out as soon as we're done. You're going to lose your shit. In fact, I want to hear your response when you play it. All right. So also this morning, Commander Burr did his Thursday Breakfast Club. So go check it out. Every week I say, go check it out. Like there's no link to put in there. This is a Twitch live stream. So like you have to see it as it's going on, but go now, put a little reminder, like go check Thursday mornings and see it as it happens because it's going to be good stuff, man. It's definitely.
Does he not archive?
He probably does, and I'm just an idiot with that Twitch stuff. Twitch
can do archives up to 14 days, I think, by default, but he might have that switched off.
I'll have to take a look at all that because I do much more YouTube side stuff than Twitch stuff. So,
yeah.
All right, Sagittarius Eye put out a little article today. Operation Ida celebrates repairing over 100 stations. Last Sunday, Operation Ida completed repairs in the Hook Gateway in LHS 6187, marking 100 stations repaired by the group. To celebrate, they're hosting an event over their communications hub starting on February 14th, that's today, and running all weekend with prizes available for participating commanders. There's a link in the show notes to the Sagittarius Eye column article, and then go there and you can see all the information about the about the actual events and whatnot. Today's
sidebar here is that today is the 13th, not 14th.
I'm a day ahead. I'm sorry. Tomorrow is the 14th. Yeah. FDev today did the stream, featured Commander AXI, the Anti-Xeno Initiative. So Steven piloted, Paige was the co-pilot and directing the stream. Steven got his first interceptor kill, and then he lived happily ever after and for sure did not blow up no matter what you heard. Don't believe that communist propaganda. There's a link in the show notes to the YouTube where you can see Commander Steven out there doing his part to squash bugs. Also today, Obsidian Ant dropped a Q&A Ant. This is one of his sort of irregular series that he does. That it's just every once in a while he does a Q&A. And this one was really, really good. I'm not going to get to all the questions. A lot of the questions, well, not a lot. Some of the questions weren't elite focused, so to speak. He does other games as well, and some of them were talking about other different things. But I'm going to hit the elite highlights. So he was asked, your thoughts on atmospheric landing and space legs? If you had to do one, like, what do you think? And he said he would much prefer atmospheric worlds. If you must choose one, maybe water worlds as well. More flora and fauna to come down the line, maybe. But he's all about that atmospheric landings. With regard to space legs, he said, that sounds interesting too. I'm a little curious on how the control schemes for that are going to work. But he was more, if he had to pick one, he was more on the Atmo landing side. What would you want most in Elite? His answer is where he wants some fast travel locally, maybe the galaxy covered with the fog of war, where you have to unlock maps sort of as you go around, so that it's more of the exploration has more of a feel to it. He wants more, super cruise fast travel to be faster. Get rid of the gravity wells. They slow you down a lot. Also,
no.
Well, he wants faster travel. That's a granular thing where you go a little faster so that like Hutton doesn't take an hour and a half to get out to.
Yeah. So I'm going to jump in here. Do that. This is like putting flying in World of Warcraft. It shrinks the size of the world, shrinks the size of the galaxy. It's not a good idea.
To be clear, though, he's not saying he wants like it to be instantaneous. He just wants it sped up a little. And also,
it's a bad idea. I do not like that at all.
All right. Well, also what he wants is the same systems close. So like if they have all the same stuff we have in the systems now, but with increased speed, you could add new stuff farther out to explore, like rogue planets, asteroids, comets, etc. The other thing he would want would be like better trade tools for the market. So how can we speed up Super Cruise? We could get rid of gravity wells. You could vastly speed up Super Cruise. You could double the acceleration rate or get rid of the speed cap. These are things that some people are going to want and other people's are not. Alec Turner,
there's been multiple times that he's actually this, and I am vehemently against this.
Right on.
And like I don't even want to discuss it on the show because I don't want anyone to spread it. I'm serious. I'm dead serious.
Well, all right. So opinions vary on this subject. All right. So Alec Turner wrote in a question to him saying, the ongoing Elite Dangerous content drought is causing a lot of content creators problem in knowing what to talk about. As Fleet Carrier, Space Legs, the 2020 update, and the mining adjustments have all been done to death. So let's mix it up. If you could decide what the community managers covered in the next Thursday live stream, allowing for the obvious constraints, like they can't tell you the stuff that they can't tell you, what would it be? This answer, first off, the question, Alex, was brilliant. The answer, Ant, was brilliant right here. Ant says that he would like regular streams focusing on current workflow and development. How is the development going? Their thoughts and insights on the same. So what he's saying is instead of every Thursday, you have your featured commander, or every Monday you have your back in the Sidewinder or whatever, you do your chats. What he would like are those things to still happen sometimes, but to be more rare. And what if you were to mix it up to where like 2 or 3 out of every 4 of the Thursday streams, or pick one and say like, okay, the Thursday streams, we're going to keep it just community events as they are, or the Monday streams, keep it whatever. But one or the other fairly regularly, if not more, most of the time, B, actually have a developer there and talking about like, hey, this week we're working on this. We've changed this. We've changed this little thing and we're testing it here, and this is how it's working, and this is what we think, or just thoughts on the workflow, and actually give sort of the people a little more meat to sink their teeth into on, hey, this is what we're working on. Now, obviously, there's going to be big picture stuff that they can't talk about when it comes to fleet carriers or, the big 2020 update. But there are little things. You have 2 teams right now. You've got your Tiger team that's handling the 2020 stuff, and you have your crew that's handling the current stuff. If you were to get one of the crew that's handling the current stuff and they were to say like, hey, this is, a thing that we're working on with the low temperature diamond issue, or this is what we're working on with this mining change or this bug fix, even if it's not big picture stuff, if you had a developer out there that was just discussing something of what's happening now and what they're working on, it could go a long way to, I think, making people feel a little better about like, okay, this is a thing that's happening and it's actually, happening. Any thoughts?
Go ahead, Trax.
I don't know. I would love to hear what's happening. I think that the reasons that they don't and can't share that sort of stuff are because of how complicated it gets with expectations and everything. And I don't think there's any way to manage that. Human beings are jerks ultimately. And there's too many people who aren't measured in their expectation and response and thoughtful, and forum nonsense would be just totally out of control. I just don't see how it could work and not make things worse than it is having no information. As bad as no information is, that's my fear, I guess. I don't know.
I think that the leak, the infamous leak, I think that the leak actually killed our information. And the reason I say that is because after that leak came out, Frontier got very, very dark. And I think it's because they're in a situation where they're not real sure where that leak came from. And they don't necessarily, they're in a position where they're not going to show anything until they're 100% done with it. And a good example is the fleet carrier thing, where they were kind of ready to show it. And then we don't quite know exactly what happened with that from Frontier's point of view, we just know that they pushed it back for a while. And, you know, I was just the mindset that leak killed. I think that we would have got a lot more information. I think they would have triggered out more information about fleet carriers and about the 2020 update throughout 2019 to build, or throughout 2020 to build up hype for it. And yeah, we're not very far into it, but still we got, you know, God, we got at least 10 more months of this. And I think that leak killed us.
Well, not 10 more months of this. We're going to have some announcement in the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to have.
Well, I'm exaggerating on the.
Carriers,
I'm exaggerating.
10 months on the 2020 update.
Yeah. And that's what I mean. I mean, I'm exaggerating a bit, but yeah, we're in a situation. We are in a content drought, and I think that leak is what did it to us. As juicy as that leak was, I think it killed us.
I completely agree with you that the person that did that leak did no service to not only did they not do any service to Frontier Development, they did not do any service to the community as a whole. They've hurt way more than they've helped in their whatever. If maybe it was malicious of intent, in which case then, you know, congratulations, you succeeded in being a dick. But if it wasn't malicious in intent, if it was like, man, this will be awesome and we'll get some excitement or whatever, you failed at that. I think you caused problems for sure. All right. So there was more to the Obsidian Ant video, but I'm going to cut it at that. Go check it out. It's an excellent video. Some of the opinions you're going to agree with, some of the opinions you're going to disagree with, but they're interestingly laid out. So, you know, check it out. All right. Which brings us, that's the end of Elite Week. That takes us to the Thargoid Report. The Thargoid Report. There you go.
Should I have a theme song? Should I make it? Anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
If it's working, that doesn't involve me. Yeah. Taygeta has been cleared. For the second week in a row, the Thargoids have managed to hold ground across 3 different systems for an entire week. A combined effort of the Hive, AXI, and many other independent groups and pilots were finally able to clear Taygeta, allowing it to come under repair this week. Many pilots are now making the trip down to the Witchhead Nebula to carry out the fight. Evangelis, Lembas, and HIP 16813 all remain under incursion and continue to burn. Thankfully, this comes with the resolve that no new systems have yet come under attack since the single colossal assault began 2 weeks ago, so the final task remains to clean up what's left. Last week's Eagle Eye defense system indicated only uninhabited systems as infestation systems, so there are no new incursions. The following systems remain under incursion from weeks prior. In order for repairs to begin, these systems must be cleared of Thargoid presence. In the Pleiades, it's HIP 16813. There are no burning stations. Moderate Thargoid presence. In the Witchhead Nebula, Evangelis can relay burning. It's a station that's burning that has 3 Federation factions in it. So if you want to get your Federation rank, that's the one to go to. They have a marginal Thargoid presence. In the Lembas system, Sal Project is burning. It's a system that has a station that has 3 Imperial factions in it. So if you want to get your cutter, that's where you go to grind that rank. It has significant Thargoid presence. Beyond the incursions, a large number of non-human signal sources are still showing up throughout the Pleiades Nebula and the Witchhead Nebula for general Xeno combat at any time. New infestations. Eagle Eye is still pending transmission. So again, going back to FDev, going back to the Galnet issue, just to be clear, in case anyone's confused or whatever, this is not anything like the invasion that we had before. Before, they were hitting hard, they were hitting fast, but the AXI guys would go in there and clearing them up. Now they're hitting like 4 times as hard, but they're like not going after new stuff. So it's like the formula got changed there. And as a result, it used to be, you know, sometimes like the tick would happen on Thursday. And then if you wanted to get out there and get in to mix it up, by the time you got out there, if you weren't there early in the weekend, like by Friday night, a lot of the stuff was getting cleared or whatever. So, Now it's much more dug in. This is definitely a thing that would be a good direct thing that you could comment on in a Galnet news article. But more so, it's also good for people who want to get in there and do some of this AX work, but they just weren't able to ever catch it because it was like the fat kid at a soccer game. By the time they got there, the ball was not there anymore. Well, now it's there. Go kill some bugs. So again, how do I get involved? We covered this already in previous weeks. I've got, so the link is in the show notes that has the full thing to this Reddit article. It also has, links to the Anti-Xeno Initiative Discord, the Anti-Xeno Knowledge Base. You can click on the Discord to get involved. You can click on the Knowledge Base to look up how you build ships, what you do, all the frequently asked questions. For search and rescue operations, the Post-Disaster Evacuation Service Discord, click on that link. It'll take you right there. For station repairs, Operation Ida website and their Discord, so you can get your questions answered and you can get access to their Discord. We're going to skip the content creator because we're already super, super long. And that's the end of it. We're ready for story time with Old Man Ty.
So last week, Storytime took us out to HR 5906, which that is the, what is it called? The snake anaconda, the
derelict anaconda.
Yeah, well, I knew that, but there was there's an actual name for it. The stranded snake. That's what it was. The stranded snake. Sorry. So we went out to the stranded snake, and so it looks like that there was this anaconda landed, and then someone else actually came or this anaconda crash landed or whatever, got stuck. And then they built a little settlement out of it. And then someone else actually came and left. There were 3 messages they left. Janie and her companion, and I don't think they ever named her companion, came out there, and they get into an SRV. Sidebar here is I'm trying to figure out where's the 2-seater SRV. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because Janie and her companion gets out and goes into this anaconda, and apparently they switch on the security systems. And we kind of assume that the security systems either hurt them, killed them, or ran them off. We don't really know. But there were 3 arrays out here. Now, this was the furthest we've ever gone as far as where to go for story time with Old Man Ty. But it was a really cool place, I thought. And I did not, apparently this thing has been out and about for a while, and I discovered this just a few weeks ago. And I did a little video on the YouTube that actually kind of showed where it was at and went through the whole thing. But this week, we're going to bring it back to the bubble. And it's about 100 light years or so from Shinrarta. And we're going to go to the system Conn, CONN, Planet A, or Planet A3A, Planet Moon, Planet. I can't remember how they did that. Anyway, Planet A3A. And this is a little bit bigger one than what the last week. The stranded snake was a little smaller one, but it was a little further out. And I wanted to kind of see how many people would go the 400 or some odd light years out there to scan this. This was really cool. I thought, though, that they built this little settlement out of that anaconda. But this week we're headed out to Conn. There's a much bigger thing at Conn that we're going to talk more about next week. There are 5 relay beacons to scan and get the data from, and we'll go from there. I don't think I actually made it out there this week because I had too much real life stuff going on. Trax, did you make it out there?
He was part of our pyramid.
Yeah,
it was the pyramid. Y'all were the pyramid.
I was in the stack of ships.
I can't remember who all was in the pyramid.
It was Dubs, Brittany, Dubs, Raxla Smaxla, Trax, Data, and myself.
So everybody, all the cool kids. So no, if you go through story time screenshots. There's a really cool one where they went and stacked, and there's this little bitty DBX up at top, just little bitty DBX, and
Balanced on its nose.
That's me,
it
bro.
was.
I'm small but mighty.
I wish the hell I had been online and done that. I can't remember what I was doing. That I think that was the night I had to work super duper late, wasn't it? Or one of the nights? I don't know. So last week we actually got an email from Commander McPherson, and I wanted before I read emails online, I try to get permission that it's okay before I read them online. So he gave me permission this week to read it online. So I want to read through it real quick. So, hey there, Loose Screws crew. I want to drop you a line and say how much I enjoyed jumping into the Discord with y'all last night. Hope I didn't commit any Discord faux pas by hopping right onto the voice comms. But I'd say there was a moment of slightly being starstruck when I jumped in, probably because of Kai. Like I mentioned, I'm trying to interact with cool online communities this year, and I'm here talking to the host and co-host of the American Elite Dangerous podcast. Cool as fuck. Ty, the first episode where you discuss why you're doing the podcast and pushing yourself out of your comfort zone really gave me the push I needed to make the jump into trying something new. Listening to you grow this podcast, bring in your awesome co-hosts, and have cool guests really brings this community to life for me. Awesome job, Loose Screws crew. I look forward to hanging out again in the future and participating in the squad goals with y'all. I want to say thank you for what you're doing and keep up the good work. Fly safe, 07. So, man, number one, I think I saw you in the Discord earlier tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think you're on now, though. But, man, anybody who is in a situation who was like me when I started this podcast, or who was in a situation with like Commander McPherson, who is a little timid about, hopping on here with us, man, we're all kind of in the same boat. Like there's a reason why we play video games and don't like go to bars and stuff. So it's not our thing. And this is where we like to hang out. So, it takes, how's the saying go? It takes 10 seconds of being purely brave, and then you can cross the threshold. I think that's how the saying goes.
Sure. Well, we'll make it 9 in
good.
our Discord.
Is it? Yeah. is the saying 9 seconds?
No, I don't. I was saying we could
we'll
beat
make it
that.
easier.
Oh, okay. So he actually sent me a follow-up email. And, he actually finished the podcast backlog, which apparently he burned through those and like really fast, because it was a couple days later he did that. So
Wow.
yeah, I know he went through everything. That's dedication. That's a lot of listening to me ramble on about nothing but bullshit. So, but that brings it to the end of my notes. Do y'all have anything else y'all want to?
Not I.
I'm good, man.
All right. Well, I think that is going to round out the show for the week. Hey, cool thing. We have a domain, loosescrewsed.com. You will be able to find all the ways to reach us there, so we don't have to go through them all. You can always email us at loosescrewsquestions@gmail.com. And our Twitter is loosescrewsed. I am Ty Worsham, and you can reach me at Commander Tyrville. Kai is at...
I'm at tinyurl.com/loose screws podcast, because I don't give a shit about my Twitter.
Yeah. I don't really use Twitter either. Discord's the place.
Yeah, it really is. That's really the best place to just is the Discord, because
No, the answer tracks. You are at
JN
Loose
Tracks.
Screws Squadron.
There's no URL for that.
No, just join us in the game, bro.
oh
Yep,
Lord.
that's right.
So anyway, we're going to land this plane now.
Right on, man.
I appreciate you guys joining us this evening. Listening
I
to
appreciate
us
being
ramble on
joined to you.
Tracks. Once again, thank you for joining us. I know you can't make it every week. Appreciate when you can make it.
Yeah,
Kai,
it's always great when you're here, man. It's always great.
Kai, you're always welcome here. You're always here. I don't know how the hell you function the way you sleep, but
Thanks for all your work.
yeah, his caffeine intake must be like ridiculous. So thanks, guys. Y'all have a good night.
Be excellent to each other. For the mug.
For the mug.
For the mug.
See you guys next time.